Welcome back to another episode of Eddie Fiola's Fact or Freestyle,
where there's no characters, it's only real people.
We sold the show to Eddie Fiola, but we retained creative control.
We're going to find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real.
Let's see how far down. I messed up. Sorry.
Oh, I was
Keep
just getting ready
going,
to
keep
say we don't
going.
have to shoot another
Let's
one
see how
because
far
you
down
nailed it.
the rabbit hole. This rabbit hole will go. What is it? I don't remember what the line is.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go this time.
This time.
Okay,
Let's
just
see how
do
far
that
down
last one. I can fix
the
it in
rabbit
post.
hole we go this time.
Okay. Boom, I'd end it right there.
I hear you.
Now I'm on.
All right. Hey, you're gonna love this getup. Are you ready?
Oh god. Why do you have
These are
chopsticks?
Because they get to the bottom and they get stuck on there. So you gotta loosen them up. But I
What
knew
else?
you were gonna love this.
What else have you used those tweezers for, though? That's the bad thing.
Tweezers.
They're chopsticks. They look like big They look like veterinarian tweezers for a horse farm. But they're like metal. What a dick.
Angie
He's got
doesn't like wooden chopsticks, and so I was like, "Well, how are we going to do this?" And so
I would love to see
those.
Angie's list of stuff she doesn't like.
It's
Yeah.
it's very short.
It's-
Look at man, shrimp rock game.
Yeah, I've been rocking it. I'm gonna wear it. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it's gonna be. How excited are you that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl? You've never even watched a football game, have you?
I used to watch because I grew up in Cleveland. I used to watch Browns games, but I am super stoked that your Eagles are in the Super Bowl for sure. Totally stoked. Huge.
Do you know that if the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl back in 17, it was 17/18, I probably wouldn't be on today. I'd be too nervous up for next week's thing. Like, you don't understand when the Eagles, the week before the Eagles played the last time, because the Eagles had never won a Super Bowl. They'd never won the Super Bowl. They'd been there twice and never won one. So, I was like even right now, like that, I'm a little like I'm freaking out. But like I was on like DEFCON 4, ready to just like die the last time they were in, and so it was really bad. Like
you
it was
were
really bad.
a young man then, weren't
When?
you? Did you say 19? I'm sorry. I misheard. I misheard.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, 2017. See, here's what happened. I found out what happened.
Mhm.
In 1980, like my house was nothing but sports in 1980. My
Mhm.
dad loved all sports, and the Flyers had won earlier in the 70s. They won the they won the Stanley Cup. Then the Eagles and the Phillies went to the Super Bowl in 1980. And the biggest one, which is my favorite, was when the US won the gold medal. When they beat, you probably don't even know about that. When the 1980 US hockey team beat the Russians, and then they beat someone else to win the gold medal. But everyone just knows they beat the Russians.
And it was a lot of those. And it was a lot of those players on the U.S. team, is what you're saying.
I thought this was Factor Freestyle. Sorry, guys.
So
Factor
what it was,
hockey.
that's pretty funny. So
Is it Factor
what it was
hockey?
is so when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, I thought everyone just went to the Super Bowl and everyone who wanted to win the world championship won. So then as I got older, like the Phillies stunk, the Sixers stunk, the Flyers stunk, the Eagles stunk. So my dad told me when I was in 1980, my dad said, Raymond, you'll never, he goes, Raymond, the Eagles will never win a Super Bowl in my lifetime, which he was true, which was very true. So when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, Elliott was only like 5 or 6 or whatever he was, or 7 or 6 or 7. And when that happened, I said, buddy, you're never going to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl again. So just soak this up. And he was like too little to really get into it. Now he's like way into football. So now he's like, ha ha, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. And you told me that we were never going to see it. But anyway, so.
Anyone
Yeah,
can do anything.
Anyone can do anything. I put it this way. If the Eagles didn't already have won the Super Bowl, I would have made you send them all shrimp rocks. I would have paid for everything. I would have paid your salary, whatever your salary is for a week, and I would have made you bang out real fresh shrimp rocks, not the ones that you already have.
Fresh shrimp rocks.
Fresh shrimp rocks.
Fresh shrimp rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got ideas. I am very much looking forward to my next, fresh shrimp rock session, because I've got materials and I've got a very different disposition. Last time I made one was in 2010, and it was pretty good craftsmanship considering that it had been so long, but
yeah,
it's silver wire, and so you have to be thoughtful about measuring it and stuff like that. I might have to start working in gold, because back then I didn't have much money, and so silver was a big thing. And now now that we sold the show to Eddie, I got all this paper, and I got to start working in some material that makes me cautious about it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is he making payments? Is he making payments, or did he just send you one lump?
He sent a lump. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
He sent one lump payment at first. Like he had like the signing bonus. He's sent us a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Then each episode he pays for.
So, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no stipulation if the content isn't to his standard, like he doesn't.
No,
I'm
in charge.
Like bar we
I'm
have to keep up with.
I'm in charge of all content.
Got it.
So we have a video editor. We have 2 people who took. By the way, Rodney, it's awesome to see you.
Hello, Rodney.
Very happy to see
guys.
you.
Is that Rodney, my Kentucky Rodney? My boy
That's
Kentucky
right.
Rodney?
That's right, Kentucky
Thank God
Rodney.
we got somebody.
Hey.
What's up, Rodney?
I'm changing your name to Kentucky Rodney. I like that too much.
That's That's a great nickname. I know a guy named Delaware Mike, and guess where he's from? Delaware. And we only know him as Delaware Mike. Don't know his last name. Don't know anything. So Kentucky Rodney's great.
That's funny because I don't really claim Kentucky.
No, you just did now though. It is
I
now.
know.
Now
You're
official.
all Kentucky now. Yeah. You're gonna have to get a camouflage hat with a fish hook in it and whatever
I know.
else.
See, that's why I don't claim Kentucky.
Yeah, well, here you're the hickest dude we know. So
There you go.
I can sit on my deck and hear the fireworks from the Reds game. It's barely Kentucky.
that is Ron Harrow. Holy shit!
Rhino, look at this. Look at this.
Yes.
Look at this.
He doesn't have.
Ron
he can't get his
Ron
mute.
Harrow. Rodney,
Dave, you did it. Dave, you
we
finally
gave
did
Dave
something.
a challenge to get Ron Harrow, Bob's brother.
I
Rhino.
finally did something.
Come on, who couldn't get Ron Harrow? I could have probably got Ron Harrow on here.
All right, Ron Harrow, give us a shout out if you can hear us.
He can't hear us.
He might
Okay.
be able to hear us, but he can't.
I'm going to
He's
ask
fine.
him to
Muted.
unmute. I think he's got. This will probably get this.
There
This
he
will
goes.
bait him.
He's
I
on.
can't hear you guys.
He's on.
Yo!
You got to
Is
turn
that-
your
I
phone
can't hear you
around
though.
and
Should I
see
call
if
in on
you
my
can't.
phone?
No.
Why can't you
No.
hear us? Joe, help him out.
I
Joe.
know.
Send him a text. Send him a
Yeah,
text.
Dave, get on his text and say,
Okay.
get into your settings or tell him to turn the volume up. I'll bet this is what. Tell him to turn the volume up. His
Yeah.
phone's volume. He was doing something with the volume down. Oh, well.
He's
he'll
on
call
again.
in.
He's calling again. There's 2. What if we find out there's 2 Ron Harrows?
There probably is 2 Ron Harrows.
Oh wow, there is 2 Ron Harrows. I
There's
think
2
the
Ron
first one looks kind of like him, but
Yeah.
The disembodied voice
No,
of
I was
Ron
monkeying
Harrow.
around with something and I messed something up.
Yeah, mine
We
wouldn't
can
go
hear
on
you
because of
fine,
something.
Rodney.
Yeah, but I can't. I'll figure it out. Oh, see, there we go.
Do we need like a 13-year-old to tech support
Yeah.
person to help us all with these?
Ron's got to have a little kid walking around the house right now somewhere.
I'm not learning new things like that. Right now.
You guys remember that cell phone called the Jitterbug that had
Sure.
like huge buttons? The Jitterbug.
Gumby,
Oh, you can't-
All right.
having a
So
little
explain that
technical difficulties here, Gumby.
No, this
No,
makes
you're
great
fine.
content. This is great content.
Oh
So
yeah.
so
I do this shit every week. I can't believe I can't get it on. What's going on?
we have it. Joe bugged it for you. So Joe put a bug.
I was
on
going to
your
hit it. That's
computer,
what my wife said on our
I
wedding.
bet.
day.
And so don't worry about your phone. I think just try turning up your volume.
Oh, come on, Gumby. I'm smarter than that. I already tried that.
Let's see.
It's,
Hey, did it work? Is it working?
This piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
He's so
He
busy.
hung up on you.
He's talking. He's saying, I don't understand.
I'll give him
Yeah,
cue
it's through the
cards.
phone. So we can only hear you through the phone at this point. So
No, wait, I
Joe,
thought
what's
I
the other
just
thing?
heard
If you go to settings,
We cannot hear you.
okay, so Ron, try going to settings.
settings on the computer, go on the settings. They'll get it.
Just talk louder,
Well,
Ron.
now he's muted.
Yeah, you're now you're muted.
I'm gonna
Eddie
ask him
Fiola
to
too.
unmute.
Okay. Well, I kind of got Ron Haro. I didn't really get Ron Haro. Okay.
You
Do you
did.
want? But we can't hear
Maybe
you.
maybe he. So our boss is coming in.
Hey, our boss is coming in right now, Ron, and it's kind of crucial that we get this technical.
The lack of professionalism.
This is like
He's
the
not gonna be
second
happy
Eddie
with
comes on.
us.
If he sees this, we're like doomed, right?
Dave is gonna
How
get
about
in
now?
big
I'm
trouble.
gonna get the shaft.
Hey,
How about now?
yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear
He
us?
did it.
I did it. Yeah, I can hear you.
Damn,
Excellent.
yeah.
Hey,
Ron,
goodbye,
I'm gonna turn
Ron.
off my
Joe.
phone. I'm gonna turn off my phone and hopefully that doesn't fuck up.
Okay.
Oh, that's not a chance. Here we go.
Are we there?
You,
Yes.
Oh, thank
you sound
goodness.
great.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God,
we're
he
good.
did it.
My
He did
stress
it.
level, Joe, was like this high. I saw Eddie's
know.
name and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if he
know.
comes on and the technical
I know.
difficulties happening.
Should
Good,
we,
nah, let's-
when Eddie clicks on, should we
he's
just
gonna
keep
leave
telling him we
now.
can't hear him?
Yeah,
we can't hear you.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
No, wait, we shouldn't. We shouldn't because then he's already had too many times where he's come on and we weren't here and like
Well,
everybody
that's
came
true.
on like 7 hours
We can just
later.
tell him. We're gonna tell him that we were gonna do that, and then we thought,
Just tell him it's a wrap. Just go, hey, as soon as he comes on, Ron, as soon as Eddie comes on, just go, hey guys, this has been a great 3 hours. Thanks a lot. I got to roll. Peace out.
I don't have any
I
more
got you.
stories. Say that's all the stories I've got, guys. Okay,
I gotcha.
we're gonna cue you, Ron.
I
Okay,
gotcha.
so Joe,
Oh,
do we want to do one last roundtable? What do you think? I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Good time,
3
everyone.
hours.
Ron, do you have
The 3
anything
hours
left
went
to
fast.
share, Ron? I mean, gosh, the stories are just, I can't imagine how many more you
Hold
might
on,
have.
I gotta get my uniform. I gotta get my brother his props. So I'm gonna put his
All right.
hat on. The hat he
Hey,
sold
Eddie.
me for $20. Actually, somebody gave me the hat. They
His
bought it for
brother
me.
sold him a hat.
No, somebody gave him 20 for me.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
You missed this thing, Gumby, this ride. It was kind of cool.
I know,
Eddie.
I knew about it. I just
And
couldn't
the
make it
best
out.
part,
I gotta ask
right
Eddie.
here. I'm gonna drink.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
IPA. I'm gonna put it down right now. Not put it down. I'm gonna drink it.
That's definitely Ron Haro, dude.
Drink it again.
Somebody has to tell Eddie that we can't hear him.
He's playing.
He
He's one
looks-
step ahead. He's playing the joke on us.
He looks perplexed.
He looks very perplexed and there's no
I'm
sound.
down.
He's
Hang
trying
on.
to get,
I'll be right
There
back
he
for a
is.
second.
There he
he's
is.
trying to
We
get
can
the
hear
angle.
you.
He's gonna go ride for us. He's gonna go ride for us. This is the Eddie Fiola freestyle show right now.
So Ron, I'm Joe. It's very nice to meet you. And thank you for coming on. Kentucky Rodney is the other dude. And then there's
You're on.
Raybo.
I have a feeling Ron might remember me.
Ray, I asked somebody what the hell you're up to.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting to talk to you on this show since the first day they started. So this is awesome. I'm so happy you're here.
Well, how long ago was that?
2 years.
How long ago? 2 years ago.
2 years?
Well,
When they were
glad to
talking
see
about
I
getting
finally
people on
made
the-
the. Glad
Well,
to see I finally
suggested
made the
it.
list, Gumby.
They couldn't find it. They've been trying to get your twin half step brother Bob on, and your twin half step cousin. We've been trying to get Bob on for like 10 years. I said, "Well, does anyone just call fucking Ron?" And then boom, here you are a week later.
I was
And
just
there's
at his
Eddie
office
Fiola.
this morning. And I told him I was doing this. He goes, yeah, they reached out to me. I just, gonna find time, brother.
He's too busy. He's
I'm,
too busy playing
he
that
is busy.
Casio.
You
I'm
should tell
I'm
him that it's
selling-
not worth it. Tell him it's
I'm
not worth
actually
it, Ron.
I'm actually selling tickets to Bob's meet and greet in Houston. And
Oh.
the only condition is you get to meet him, but you have to get down on one knee and literally kiss the ring. And we're going to get photos of that.
Oh boy. I didn't know anybody knew about that. He just told me about that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
He
out.
posted something on it, Ron. So
Oh, he did? Well, I don't
yeah,
read that.
Saturday night in Houston, and there's an event happening.
Don't read it.
Ron's not on the interweb.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What the
I'm
web?
staying at home and paying for my own barbecue.
That's
Hey,
like my
welcome.
other brother. That's my other brother Scott. When somebody helped him get on the computer, and he told me, he goes, Rhino, I got this new website. It's called Facebook. I'm like, right on. Oh yeah.
Hello,
Yeah,
Eddie.
so does every other American. And
Hey,
Hey,
how you
Eddie.
guys doing?
Good. We're doing well. You just got done riding, looks like.
I'm not done riding.
Oh, you're just
Taking
taking a
a
break
break.
for us.
Hey, Eddie, let's get,
Yeah. Well, we've got somebody on the track that's kind of hurt, so the ambulance has got to show up. So
Oh,
got to
Sure.
take I got to take a break.
are they okay?
well, that's cool, Eddie. We're all done anyway. It was nice talking to you.
Joe, what time did you tell Eddie the call was?
Hey, it started at 12.
Eddie,
We gotta get
have
Eddie in
been
the
setting
morning.
this prank up for you. But no, we just started, but we all
He
agreed that we were
froze.
going to tell you that it was at the end, but it's the beginning.
It's the
He
beginning.
froze.
We're messing with
It
you,
looks-
Eddie.
It looks like he's pulling an eclair out of his ear.
He's frozen.
You can't hold a prank for more than 2 minutes or even 1 minute,
No.
dude.
No, we're
Okay.
horrible. We're horrible at it. Eddie's frozen again. There he is.
All right, Eddie.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie, we wanted to hear how you pitched Rad, the story of your life, because we have a life story we want to also. There you go. That's how Eddie.
That's how he
did it.
pitched
just
it.
walked
That's how he
out.
did
There it was.
He just like
Ladies and
he just
gentlemen,
left
Eddie
it. He left the
Fiola.
room.
Eddie-
He was
He's
here.
gonna help land the helicopter, probably.
What?
And you guys said I was unprofessional. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No.
We'll fix it in post.
Rhino looks like he's calling us from like a college dorm. He's like pounding beers, got his hat.
Oh wait. I come back in.
Hey,
Oh.
hey, Ron.
Hold
Do you
on.
remember the story? Do you remember the story? I told this before, where we went down to Mexico in my truck.
This
I was
is
gonna
not
tell you that
working.
story today, big time.
We're
What's happening
getting
with Rod?
we're getting feedback. Hey, Rhino, how many phones do you have on right now?
Let me turn this shit off. Hold on. Phone's off. There's no phone. You getting feedback still?
It's only when our voice come through.
It's only
Could it
when I
be
talk.
Eddie's?
It's,
Eddie's got his Bluetooth on.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Oh, maybe
It's
it's
Eddie.
Eddie, is it you?
Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie's
don't
the
blame me. Blame
sabotager.
Eddie.
I thought Eddie had to land the helicopter.
It's my fault. I've got.
Hey,
my
Joe, can you
Bluetooth on.
mute Eddie for a minute and see? Can you mute Eddie and just
We will
Dave
never
is
mute
issuing
Eddie.
a direction to mute his
Mute
boss.
can you? I said can
Oh
you?
my
Damn.
Yes, I
Oh.
can, but I won't.
Can you-
I mean,
will
this
you?
is-
Can't. No,
Will-
I
This is
wouldn't
our
do it.
boss.
I wouldn't
can't
do it.
Well, we're
I'm
just
not
trying to get a
doing it.
better show.
Work around it, man. You
Oh,
never tell
boy.
him what to do.
So
Okay,
you're
Ron,
just
tell a
trying to get
story.
a better show.
So tell the story about how we went down to Mexico with your brother. Because I had my version, but maybe you probably have a better
It
version.
wasn't my brother. It was, you talking about San Felipe?
No, we're talking about Nick and Scott and me
No.
and you.
It was Nick, me, you, and Ace
Yeah.
Monahan.
It wasn't Scott. See, I already
No,
got
it
the
was-
story wrong.
You're all jacked up. It was
So-
Ace. And we went down to San Felipe. We used to go there all the time. We'd go to San, we took your truck, we drove down there. Oh man, partied on the beach, did all kinds of stuff hanging out down there for like 2 days. The last day, we're getting ready to go home. All I remember is we had $5 between us and a 12-pack of beer. And we looked at each other, and I don't know what your vote was, Gumby, but the three of us said, we said ice or gas. And we looked at each other and we said ice. Remember that?
I remember different, but keep going.
Okay. Then we were driving home, and Ace traded a Swatch watch for a tank of gas, and our beer was gone. Remember? You don't remember that?
I remember that part. Yeah, no, I remember that part. Yeah. He says, "How about a nice watch?" He's like, "How about a nice watch?"
Oh, I am so sorry, Neil. I had no idea those beers gonna blow like that. He did that voice, the old candy voice. And then, so anyway, we got the gas. We went into a liquor store. I'm in there trying to pedal a watch, and they weren't going for it. I was trying to get a 12-pack for a nice watch, but they wouldn't go for it. So then I was in the back of your truck. Nick was driving. You were passenger. And I found a bottle of tequila, and I kept pushing it through your window and trying to get Nick to drink shots, and he was getting pissed. He was done. He had it, and then we went home. But I don't know what your version is. That's the one I know.
Well,
So Dave actually told me this version. Dave, can I tell you? Let me
Yeah,
tell
tell-
and you tell me when it gets wrong. Dave said that he went down with you guys and Ace, and it was ice or gas.
Yeah.
And the
question
guy,
is that we're all parked in the wrong spot here.
they said either it wasn't a Swatch watch. Dave
whoever
did a
parked here-
Gumby naked.
Yeah. Take it easy. Is that
And
you?
Since then, he's changed the story that he actually traded with a Swatch watch. That's the story that I heard. Is that actually
interesting.
true?
He did a naked Gumby.
Yes.
I've heard of this because I don't remember witnessing that. But then again, I told you there was a bottle of tequila in the back, so who knows? But I remember trying to trade watch for alcohol. That's for sure. And I know we
Well-
only had $5, and we bought
Here's
the
what-
ice.
Here's the part of the story that I remember. When we were down there, I had like $20 left in my pocket for gas. That
Why
was my
didn't you
goal.
give it to them? They only had 5.
I think
Well,
he's holding out. Yeah.
I gave it to him. That's my point. That's they talked me into it. Like, and we bought
Okay.
another 12-pack and another bottle of tequila, not ice. We bought more liquor.
Okay. And so I might have got
Okay, yeah. Now he's like,
Selling
oh,
the
okay.
ice forever.
These
I
are
didn't know you put it. Okay, Gumby, you want to get credit for spending the last 20? We'll give it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
I
And then-
heard you
all he
spent
on this
50
one.
though.
Yeah,
I
probably.
don't know. Hey, all I know is at that same beach, I left my quad when it broke. Our trailer busted, and I left my quad down there for about a year with the taco stand guy. Remember the taco stand guy, Kiko?
Yeah, yeah.
Kiko's Tacos. And everybody's all, that bike's gone. It was a Suzuki 500 quad. And they're all, that bike's gone. There's no way you're getting it back. I went back like a year later. He had it at his house all covered up. He fucked it up even more trying to fix it, but he had it apart a little bit. And there it was. He gave it back to me.
Wow. That's
Holy
awesome.
smokes. Eddie, do you have audio? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, so can you tell us how you pitched the people at RAD to actually make the movie about you? We have been discussing how this happened and we don't know the full story.
You're not concerned, Joe, about the ambulance and the person that might be injured here, like he's on
I
site?
am, but I'm not gonna make 500
Joe's
people
working.
listen to it.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying there might be a little bit of
500.
urgency.
I
Okay.
don't think
No,
Joe
the
can
kids-
do anything.
The
about it.
kid's
There's
fine.
nothing we can do on the phone. So proceed, Joe.
Yeah,
That guy's
Yeah.
going to be fine.
yeah. Hey, how did you pitch Rad?
Well, I didn't pitch Rad. They came to me, and the whole that BMX was huge, and the commercials and the magazines were out, and 180 BMX was a huge thing. So you know, the
This is
people
just the way I remember it.
that made the movie, they actually came to me because they wanted somebody who was on top and do the stunts. So Hal Needham and one of the other guys came to the house and actually had an interview with me, that they said that they were thinking about making a movie and this and that. And I told them my whole story about, you know, that I grew up without a father. You know, my dad passed away when I was 14, and then I started riding, get some aggression out. And then the next thing I know is that they're calling me to, you know, book me to be one of the main stunt doubles.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't understand, and I didn't know, that they had hired me. They knew that they wanted me as the stunt double, and they still haven't. They had to hire that looked like me, my height and my size. So that's a, you know, and that's where it went. You know, it just so happens that the story I told to these guys comes really close to being what I did growing up. I just rode my bike. I had fun. I was riding the skate park, Lakewood Skate Park, and having fun. So, you know, single mom. I had you know, I have two sibling sisters, one younger, one older. And you know, I was, you know, once I, you know, got in the magazines and was on GT, they hired me to do all the stunts. I think I and Martin and Jose were the only BMXers that actually got paid to be in the movie, because all the other ones, the sponsors paid for them to be in the movie.
Mm.
So GT got a huge freebie. So did that all
Yeah,
come through?
I remember at Harlow we did something with them. I don't remember what it was, but I remember kind of dealing with them at the time, but who knows? So probably we paid them.
Yeah. So, and Ray, the idea of doing a podcast wasn't that I didn't come to say it wasn't a podcast. It was about a bunch of guys at a table and filmed at a table, not the podcast, not video here and video there. It's everybody together and just telling stories. So just want to make that clear from, you know,
Eddie,
the last.
You're 100% right, but now you called me out on my bullshit and you ruined it. Now you're going to take my stories away. Damn. You're right.
Hang on.
It was funnier the way we told it.
What was great?
It's funny
That-
to be corrected. He's
But
like,
Eddie
Ray?
was practicing that, like lines from a movie. You know how steady that was, man? He let me have it. I feel like I was getting punched. Oh,
I got a question for
can't-
Eddie.
yes. Get
Okay,
it.
so I was flipping through an issue of Freestyling the other day, and I saw an ad for something that I don't remember. I've never seen it before. Eddie, can you tell us about the city cat? I don't think Eddie can hear me. Are you guys familiar
He's on
with
me.
this?
No, now he's
He's
mute.
on.
We can't,
Joe, hold your sign up that Eddie's on mute.
we can't hear you.
What was it called?
The
Rodney?
City Cat.
The City Cat?
CITICAT.
Wait, we gotta tell him we can't hear you.
I have asked him to unmute.
There he goes.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, you're back, Eddie. So the
So-
question was, did you get the question?
Yeah, no,
from
I heard
Rodney?
the City Cat deal, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And hang
Okay,
on, guys.
so,
I'm sending a.
I
there you
just, yeah, I just finished up with GT. GT literally gave me my walking papers because they had Josh White in for way less money and doing way radder tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So, so this company came to me and said, "Hey, we have this bike design, and we'll pay you X amount of dollars if you ride it and you endorse it." I said, "Well, let me ride it." And if you read the quotations on that ad,
Yeah.
read them verbatim, right? Read them.
Joe,
Joe.
Okay, let
You-
me get
you wanna
this
read
back.
these?
Yeah, read them, Rodney. Go ahead. Hit it.
oh, hang on. I got to get the ad back up. All right. If you missed seeing Eddie's smiling
The
face.
quotations.
Oh, okay. The quotation. Sorry. Oh, okay. Down here at the bottom. The City Cat is like no bike I've ever seen or ridden before. At first, it feels really weird because you're so used to a regular bike. But after a while, you get used to the suspension and start using it to your advantage.
I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was a hunk of shit.
So
But
that's
I
the
took
second
their
time. That's the
But I
second
took their
story you
money.
got today. That's the second story you have today where you said something, but they askewed it and wrote something else. First it was me, or no, first it was them, then it was me. There's a pattern here, Eddie.
We
No,
want this to be
I
Eddie
am
corrects the record.
by the rules. I am riding by the rules. Did I tell you about the story of the BMX Olympics?
No.
The
No,
BMX
no, no.
Olympics that they had, BMX Plus put it on, and it was freestylers against racers.
Dude, that sounds really good.
Yeah. For the idea, we had cones, and we were supposed to do these cones and weave in and out of the cones. And they had Harry Leary, they had Toby Henderson, they had a bunch of guys, Greg Hill, and they had us freestylers that were doing it at the same time. Now, they had, I don't know, like 15 cones, and through 15 cones, it would take you like 14, 15 seconds to get through every one of the cones, right? To get
Yeah.
past. Now, they said that if you hit a cone or you miss a cone, they were going to add a second to your time. So everybody went and everybody was getting, 14, 15, 14, 13. They were getting really good scores, right? And I was thinking to myself, well,
I know it. Yeah.
it's only going to take me 2 seconds to get across the line if I miss every single cone.
Yeah. It's so good.
And I legitimately won because I beat the score, but I was disqualified because I didn't play by their rules.
Oh.
By the end of this show, Eddie's going to be a legend, man. We just got 3 great stories, man, already.
Mhm.
And Ron hasn't even talked yet.
No, I'm thinking.
Hey,
So-
I have 2 questions real quick. So the two things back in the day that people said about Eddie Fiola, I want to know if they're true, and I think they are. The first one was that you didn't want to dye your hair blonde, so they made the guy that was the actor in Rad dye his hair. That's the first one. And the second one is one of the GT ads. They needed to shoot a GT ad, but you weren't available, so they got your sister, and it's just her dressed up with her arm carrying a bike, and like your head's off, and it says like Eddie's traveling. So was that your sister in the ad and not you? Here we go, Joe.
100% true on both occasions.
Good one, Ray. Good one, Ray.
That's
Joe, I was around a lot back in the day. You know who told me that was
If you
the
look
one
at
about
that,
your sister. Good.
yeah, if you look at that ad with my sister, you can actually see that the bottom of the pants are rolled up a little bit, and it's my sister that's in there because my sister and I have the same color skin. They chopped her head off, and
That's
yeah,
so good.
that was it.
They asked me to
Oh,
do it, but
I
I
found
didn't. I
it.
didn't fit in the uniform.
Which
Look at
I got
that.
a job because I fit in a uniform once.
Tell us that story.
Do you know who? Do you know who Alonso Fernando is, or is it Fernando Alonso? Alonso Fernando. It's a F1 racer.
Okay.
Oh no! But so
I-
you fit in the suit and you were racing.
anyhow, he was in Monaco training, and because I fit in his suit, I was hired for a stunt job to drive his F1 car.
Whoa!
Whoa.
I think there's pictures on my Facebook in the picture gallery under work.
Hey, Ray, we
Yo.
better get on some diets if we want to drive an F1 car.
I can barely fit in my bathroom. I ain't getting in a car like that.
Wow.
F1.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of factor freestyle.
Eddie's on fire today. Eddie's on fire.
Yeah.
Hey, I haven't been here in a while, and since I own it, I'm paying $50,000 for this, factor freestyle. I mean, I got to
Wait,
get my
I
money
don't
worth.
think we weren't.
Joe, you got to edit that out.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
cut that
I'll
out.
fix
That
that
out. He
in
just-
post.
Oh,
Oh,
We're
my
not giving
God.
Dave any of the money because he quit.
Yeah.
I never knew the number, Eddie.
that was a secret? I didn't know it was a secret.
Oh,
Well,
oh
not
yeah.
any- I'll
Well,
fix
it's
it.
not now.
Well, now we get to
You
watch
guys-
Dave
hey,
squirm.
you know
that
what?
We all got paid.
Eddie is officially on board right now. After just this last 15 minutes, Eddie is on board and the owner of Fact or Freestyle.
Hey,
Well, I had
Oh my
Eddie,
goodness.
I had to
I'm
sell
sweating.
my bike in order to,
Oh
purchase factor freestyle.
yeah.
Hey, I didn't know there was money going on. I'll give you guys my address when we hang up.
will
It doesn't
do.
go all around. I
You'll
promise.
go.
Rodney knows.
You'll,
So can
you'll
I
get
give
royalty.
my favorite Ron Haro moment real quick, and then I'll shut up. I won't talk anymore. So I met up with Ron and Volker and a bunch of other dudes when they were on tour. It was a
AC/DC?
Bill. Yeah, there he goes. He knows it. Yeah, Bill Newman and Dave Mirra. So Bill Newman and Dave Mirra went to a club somewhere with Gary, like locally in King of Prussia, and me, Ron, and about 4 of my friends, the guy got tickets to AC/DC. So Ron's like, Ray, if you can drive and we'll take the dually, you can drive us down and back, but we need a case of beer. So it was the first time I ever saw a 30-pack. So Ron and Dave buy a 30-pack, right? 30-pack of Coors Light. We get this huge pizza at the local pizza place. We drive down to the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and we get out of the car, and I swear, like, the beer was almost gone. And I'm like, and I very quietly asked Dave, I'm like, dude, how much beer can you guys drink? And Ron, I didn't even think heard me, and he's like peeing in the parking lot. He turns around and goes, Raybo, I could drink enough to kill 3 humans. Don't worry about it. and then we went in and saw AC/DC. And then in the middle of them playing, I turn around and I see feet straight up in the air, and Ron is doing his headstand in the middle of the aisle while Back in Black's playing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like being like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid and just being there with like Volker and Ron Haro and this whole shit going down. It's like, I wish I had an iPhone, you know what I mean, back then. But that was one of my most memorable nights back in the day.
That was a
These guys
very
going
fun
nuts.
night, Ray. Didn't we go to a grave site that night too?
Yep. He's got a better memory than me. Yeah. Dave just sent me those pictures. Dave just sent me those pictures a couple of months ago where we went into a graveyard, because I guess in California there's not a lot of graveyards out in the middle. Like here in Pennsylvania, there's graveyards like next to a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to a graveyard. We did all kinds of
I've got
stuff.
tons of pictures from that tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a bunch of
that's
them.
awesome.
The only one
Yeah,
I've
Ron
got,
could drink a little bit.
a little bit back in the day. I don't do it much anymore.
No.
Hey, look who's here. We have Gail Webb.
Oh,
really?
Gail.
Oh, nice.
There
I
she
don't-
is.
Where?
Hi, Gail.
Oh,
I'm doing a
Hi.
Zoom meeting here.
Oh, I'm
To see
sorry.
what all these guys know.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Hello.
Don't
Hi,
have my
Gail.
glasses. Can't see who you are.
We got a lot of sun in our eyes here. So this is actually the pump track and dirt track that is named after Gail Webb.
Yeah.
oh, very cool.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Wow.
And,
All
and to
right.
have her be here, and she'll take photos and hang out and be really cool. Hey, Gail, do you mind taking a little video of me real quick?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride a little bit. Let's see if we can
Yeah.
switch this around.
It's so great having Eddie as the owner now, because like he can just dictate the whole show and we can.
He
just
took
go up.
control.
Yeah, it's
So
great. It's
good.
like we're doing a riding
So
session
good.
now. Okay.
It's the first time in 2 years somebody finally put me in my place. I couldn't believe it.
Well, and there's actually some form to the show now. It feels like it's turned a new leaf, don't you think, Joe?
You're
I
a true
do.
professional.
I knew that we needed
You can see it there, right? I'm gonna
we
ride.
needed professional supervision.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's structured. Oh, by the way, I've got 2 people who are auditioning for the video editor.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
For the shorts. And one of them is going to be in Houston for the Jam Circle next week. He lives in Houston, and yeah, he's gonna shoot some stuff there. His buddy owns a brewery like a little farther down, and so if there are too many plants at the Jam Circle,
So if I
we
do
have
it now
an
while the
overflow.
ambulance is still here, they can get a twofer.
Okay, what, Joe? Finish that though, please. And if what?
If the spot, the official Jam Circle, okay, so you know how Hector was like, I'm going to invite 200 of my friends to come and ride a 50-foot wide circle.
I know it's gonna be
which-
crazy. Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. So then he loses the sponsorship with Rockstar Energy somehow. They were gonna
Oh,
repave it. I don't know what is going on that front, but then he moves it to this plant store. They sell they sell house plants and almond milk is what they
Perfect.
specialize in.
Perfect combination. Right?
And and so they're going to do the show there, and it's about 40 feet wide, and it'll look great with 200 people. So I was talking to this other photographer or videographer, and we're working on like the audition, what's he going to do, how's the money going to flow, how we're going to like, because it has to be, because what I said was the sponsors are going to judge, and then the sponsors are going to run test spots to see how the videos perform, and then the money is going to get based on that. Hey, Eddie.
Hello.
Hey, I've got 2 candidates for video editors in the pipeline right now, and I'm meeting one of them next week. He's going to be in Houston for that Jam Circle contest. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Okay. So he's going to be there. He's going to be filming stuff. Mark Eaton is going to be there spinning. This guy also got us not a separate, but like an overflow spot at a local brewery. And so if the plant store fills up, there's another spot for us to film and stuff like that. And so
Oh, nice.
So I wanted to get with you to get like a shot list or anything that you needed for the show, or any of your sponsors that we could set up. And because Mark will be there, not only DJing, but he'll be a cameraman plus this other editor. So we'll get lots of content.
What, hey, Eddie, what
Your money
sponsors
is
do we need to
really-
highlight? Like what sponsors do we need to cover?
What
The
about
Rad
Acid?
Designs, Rad Designs 1986.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously that one. And who else
Yeah.
is like,
Fiola, the Fiola brand.
oh yeah, that brand, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Alosta beer.
Really?
I don't know if we can do that in another beer factory or something.
It's a local hipster, so we can just run the
Cool.
ads in regional spots and not have any conflict.
Yeah, and Supercross BMX.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. I'll ask Mindy for a press pack.
Okay, yeah, I know she's got everything.
So yeah, so
Hey,
that's what we're
Ed-
gonna, so we're gonna film, ads down there, and then we
Eddie,
can
can you
do
tell us-
large raise, slow roast.
Oh, okay.
Joe, I just sent you some pictures if you got them.
Yeah. I
Eddie,
did.
can you tell us your
Oh.
schedule for the year? Like things that you have already scheduled, where events that you're going? Because I've seen a couple things, but I can't remember.
I
Aren't you
know that
gonna
we're
go-
going to the Georgia.
Yeah, what event was that? It's like a
That's
show.
the
right?
that's the Ham Jam.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
tell
Ham.
us about that.
It's the company called Pork Chop BMX, and they have a wide range of BMX products that they repopped, and they all work really nice, and they're great people to work with. So they're bringing us out again in I think it's March. Sometime March 14th, maybe. No, not March. Anyhow, it's on the website. It's on Rad Designs 1986 upcoming events.
Oh,
Cool.
awesome. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, I think you should pull it up so we can plug it, Joe.
Oh,
And
really,
any-
Dave? That's what you think? Is this? I'm sorry. It's just, I was like, hey, I'm gonna bring that up, and then you kind of bossed me. You're like, hey, Joe, bring that up.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Hey, Eddie, where were you the other night? I went to Supercross with Copeland.
Oh, I watched it from my my couch.
Wow. I took my 5-year-old grandson and sat with the Cope.
How do you like it?
He loved it. He wanted the red bike to win.
That's the way I pick them.
Are you going to Houston, Ray?
No. Eagles are in the Super Bowl, man. I'm on
Yeah,
lockdown.
I know.
I'm on lockdown, dude. You shitting me? There might be some coverage on the news I might miss. I gotta watch it.
Okay, so Eddie, that's not till October. Is there any other events that you're going to that we should know about?
We
Eddie's
we're
good.
trying to book something in March in Vegas. It might not be at a bike shop or anything. It might just be us hanging out and handing out posters and hats and some stickers. So it's kid's birthday and my wife's birthday in March.
Oh,
So-
cool.
So you're going to Ohio, Eddie?
Not Ohio. We're thinking about going to Vegas for that March, and then I think what was the other one? It's in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Somewhere
I see that, but I
Georgia.
also see June 2nd and
Carter-
3rd Buckeye
Cartersville.
BMX show.
Yeah, hey Eddie, on the site, it shows you as coming to the bike show in Ohio on June 2nd and 3rd.
Joe
I
and
can
I
go
gotta
with
go.
Eddie
then
if
I'm
he
gonna
can't
be
make it.
there. I think that was through Billy Grands. Billy is a promoter and he just loves the sport of BMX. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is, but he's been working with us a little bit and he's been setting some stuff up, and he's been talking to Andy Patterson and myself and a couple other guys about just coming out to a bunch of different shows. This guy is, he's not made of money, but he has a little bit, and he's offered to pay for our flight and hotel once we're there.
That's pretty good. I mean, Joe and I both go to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you
I
say?
assume you're going this year, Joe.
Yeah, I am. Eddie, did
I
you
am
say
as well.
Danny? Did you say Danny Gans, the guy from Vegas, is doing all this?
Not Danny, Billy Grands.
Oh, okay, I got it.
That name sounds vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah, he was at the BMX Hall of Fame. He was there talking to a bunch of people. He said he was in the process of possibly buying the name Skyway for redoing the Skyway wheels.
Oh, yeah. No, I know him. He's been there the last couple of years as well.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I've met him. Yep.
So really nice guy. Really nice guy.
That's super cool.
Not
That
as
is
cool as
very
some of
cool.
the stories Ron's going to tell us in a few minutes once I start telling him what the
Yeah, Ron,
Yeah,
I have
I'm
a,
Ray.
subject.
Ron, I have a factor freestyle for you. So is it factor freestyle that you are actually now spending your time building retirement homes for the BMX scene?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're Ron, right? You're Ron Haro.
Yeah, I don't know.
you're-
Are you guys 80 yet? I don't think so. I do
No, I
build.
thought you're building retirement homes and you're gonna like specialize them for BMX, aging
Yeah.
BMXers.
We build- I
Retirement
build-
homes.
I build senior assisted living facilities.
For BMXers?
Say that 3 times. Yeah. BMXers can live there. My dad's in one of them. He lives in one of our buildings. We just put him in there. He's doing great. He's 94. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Bacon. Oh, look at that. Wow.
That's when Ron was the number 3 Chippendale in the state. Look at that.
See that?
The headband. That's his own chest hair. That's not a prop. That's real chest hair right
I
there.
did
He'd
have
let
some
you play-
black ass chest hair.
Look at that. He used to let you play with it after a second beer.
Oh yeah, look, man, that was a hairy bastard, wasn't I? I don't know where it's at. I think it's just all gray now. I can't really notice it. You guys,
Yeah.
hold on, let's look. It's all gray. Look
Whoa.
how white I am.
That's
Damn.
me standing next to him. Not Bill
Ron.
Newman, the guy on the left. That's me at 200 pounds, dude. Christ, I could
Wow,
be like that
really?
right now. Yeah, that's me.
Wow. Look at what's his name? Billy Bacon or no,
Bill
not Billy
Newman.
Bacon.
It's
Bill
Bill Newman
Newman.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, what's
And then
happening
that's
with your
Gary.
shorts there? What's happening with your shorts
I-
there?
They were taking a picture and I was pulling them down like Ron and I just finished something bad. It was a really cheesy motel. We had a lot of bad sexual references back then. There was not, we would run out of stuff to make fun of each other about. So then it just, stuff had to turn a little silly.
What exactly is Gary looking at?
My mushroom
Oh,
cap's
yeah.
out. Yeah, it was out.
Who's the person on the far right?
On the far right there, I think it's a girl, Alexis.
Okay.
So it was Alexis, Gary Pollock, Bill Newman, Ron Haro, Raymond
Yep.
Schleckwig. And Dave took the picture. And
Got it.
Dave
Okay.
Dave Mira was there, but he's not in the picture. But Dave was on that tour with those guys,
He's
I
taking
believe.
the picture. Yeah.
What year?
Yeah.
What year was that?
It was
98?
1990, I think.
Okay.
90 or 91.
Yeah, 91, I think, probably.
Yeah.
And Volker sent you this picture because he took it, right? Not me.
Yeah. And that's me without a beard. And that's Volker doing a selfie. And that's a Chippendale in the background. Look at that ghetto. That's on the way to AC/DC. So look, he's got the headband on, like the bandana, the wife beater with the blue shirt to show his that he's still in the 80s a little bit.
And he's
Yeah.
got 10 beers, at least 10 beers in him already, probably.
Yeah, and just think we came. So like we came rolling up in the GT dually. So you know
Awesome.
it was, and we had about 4 people with us too. We had a bunch of people with us in there also. So it was awesome.
That's
Dude,
cool.
I had that dually in quite a few places. One of them I'm not too proud of, but I'm not going to mention it. Everybody probably
No,
knows
come
about it.
on now. You
Now
can't
you
say
got
that.
it. You got it.
Oh,
This
it's,
is a-
yeah,
This is a
at the
safe
Bunny
space.
Ranch, I was there.
At the Bunny Ranch.
The Mustang
that's what-
Ranch, Ray.
Yeah,
Bunny Ranch.
Dave was tipping all the guys, and we're like, no, not the guys, the girls, Dave. And he's like, well, you got to spread it out, right? And I was like, all right.
Which Dave? Which Dave are you talking about?
Dave Norrie, the guy that rode for Haro.
No, you were
hasn't done. Yeah, you were there.
you were
We're
saying
gonna
Dave
edit all-
Mira
we're gonna-
or Dave
we're gonna-
Volker? Which Dave are
No,
you talking about?
No, Dave Norrie, I'm talking about. We can edit all this out so no one knows your past, Dave. It's fine.
They don't have an editor yet.
I think
Yeah.
you're
don't have
referencing
an
Volker because I never went there. So
No, you were there. Ron's the one that brought us in the dually. Ron will tell you.
I
It
never
was-
was in that dually.
We had to be in
I was
Wisconsin.
never in that dually.
We had to be in Wisconsin, and Volker and I started gambling at midnight, and I was up like $2,000. I never won any money gambling before. I don't even know if I ever gambled before, and I got up $2,000. Volker comes and finds me at noon and says, "Rhino, dude, we gotta go. We gotta get to Wisconsin." And I'm supposed to be the team manager, and I'm like in a half daze. Huh? What? So I'm like, oh shit, where's Mira? Oh, he's been out riding all night with some kids. They took him up to the Mustang Ranch, and I'm all, whoa, shit, his mom's gonna kill me. So I got out of the casino. We got in the truck, grabbed my $2,000, which was a lot of money back then. And on the way out, I go, hey, you guys want to go check it out? So we pulled in, and let's just put it this way: the day crowd's nothing to look at up there.
That's what Dave Norrie told me. Look at Dave.
He's so
mad.
pissed right now.
Okay, everybody. I am joking. Dave Norrie was never at the Mustang Ranch. As you know, Eddie told everybody I am a compulsive liar, and 98% of the stuff I say is not true. Dave Norrie was never at the Mustang Ranch in a dually.
Hey,
And I
Ron,
gotta say this: Volker did not want to go. He
Right.
was all against it. And for the record, it was all me. I forced everybody in the parking lot.
There you
hey,
go.
Ron, tell us the
Yes.
story about your wedding and you had to save the kid in the pool. Kid fell in the pool. You're in your
mad at me
tux.
about that.
What's that?
I thought you
He
were
just
mad
went-
at me about that.
No,
He
I'm
just
not-
went from the Mustang Ranch to saving a kid at his own wedding. Proceed.
Go ahead. Okay.
Gumby was at my wedding, and it was a very hot day. And I had this. Oh, well, I wish I would have had a picture of it. I'd have sent it to you guys. But anyway, it was a hot day. I'm over by the slide. We're getting married on the low budget end at my ex-wife's, at my mother-in-law's house in the backyard. They had a nice little pool, which they still live in the same house. And all of a sudden, I see out of the corner. I'm over by the bar. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
I'm over at the bar.
At the other side of the pool.
The other side of the pool, and out of the corner of my eye, I hear a splash, and I look over and I see this kid in there. So I just take off running, jump in the pool, land right at the kid, grab him, and throw him up in the air. I didn't even look where I was throwing him, but I think I threw him right into your hands, right, Gumby? And a big old splash. Everybody got wet, and I was the hero. And it was your kid, right, Gumby?
It was my kid.
Oh
I thought
no!
Stop at me, because Gumby's all, oh, I got him. He wasn't drowning. I had him. And in the photo I have, you can see you and all my friends like reaching for him, trying, getting ready to pull him in. And I just made the biggest scene and looked like
Were
the
you
hero.
were you submerged
That
in the
is
pool,
man.
Ron? Were you
I
in the
said-
pool, Ron?
I jumped in
You
feet
don't-
first, with hands up, right at the kid, and grabbed him. And just threw him
Here's
out
my
like that.
Yeah, here's
So
my version of it.
Dave didn't jump in for his child. He sent the groom in. Full
No, here's
clothes.
my
Yeah.
version. Here's my version.
Oh
So my son's
God.
playing by the
Yeah.
pool and he steps into the pool and I'm like, oh, Blythe. And I go to reach down to pick him up and pull him out. Like literally in a minute. And Ron takes his beer, puts it down in the bar and goes, runs across and dives and swoops him up. It freaks Blythe out because it was such a dramatic save, right? He's crying because of Rhino throwing him out of the pool, not because he fell into the pool.
How old was he?
He was like
He's got
15.
I was gonna say he's like 33 now, right, Gumby?
Yeah, he was like 5.
Okay, yeah, no, that all tracks. That
No,
makes
I
sense.
loved it, Ron. I mean, you were the hero. I mean, my son, I was not concerned for my son, but if I ever had a situation, I would know Ron Howard would put his beer down and put his life on the basically take it on.
Hey, at least I didn't drink it first. I put it down.
Exactly.
I didn't take it in the pool with me, you know. So, yeah.
Your
And then all
stories
the
are
Literally said, "Hold my beer."
And then the photos are great because all before that we're all in the same color gray suits. And then afterwards I've got a different color looking suit on because it's all wet. And they were all hot. And I was feeling.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty legendary stuff. Like
Me and
I
Gumby
have-
had some good times.
I know even more legendary story of Ron. That's
you
probably
want to try to
one-
top that. Try to
Of
top
course you
that.
do. Of course you do,
This-
Ray. Of course.
He has this one's one step below that, but I believe that Ron had a full-time job and his own apartment at age 14. Is that true?
In my own apartment. No, at 14 I worked at JT Racing.
Didn't you? When did you have your own apartment? How old were you when you lived on your own? How old were you?
Oh,
Were you
well,
15?
shoot. No. So, man, I bounced around a lot. My mom couldn't handle me, took me to my dad's. Then my dad's wife kicked us out. I went to my sister's. And me and my buddy Ace, we tagged along a lot, but I lived at my sister's from, 15 to 18. And I had a girlfriend there at my sister's. And when I was 16, my brother comes over and says, "Hey, brother, I got a deal for you. Get your license. I'm gonna go out on this tour across the country. Get your license. You can go with me." And I'm like, "A tour? What the hell? What do you mean? I didn't even know what the country was. You know, I'm like, I know where Spring Valley is." And so I'm like, all right, I don't know. Maybe I got this hot chick, you know, girl that Scotty kind of passed down to me. And that's another story. But anyway, so I'm also, my dad comes over. He goes, "Son, you got to go on this trip with your brother. It's going to be educational. You're going to learn a lot." And so I went and got my license and I got my fake ID and we were off. But I didn't even have a suitcase. As my brother, he knows, it's been documented. I had a box. All my clothes were in a box, just a big square box, you know. And in the back of that van, we brought a jet ski. It was me, Morales, Bob, and Jeff Rubiner. Yeah, we had a jet ski, and Bob Morales broke the jet ski, and my brother was pissed, and they got into it. I think, I don't remember exactly what happened, but Morales could tell you. And,
What year
we
was
went on
that?
We were out there
Oh,
for
we
3
should get
months.
him on.
It was, we did my brother was doing something, I don't know what it was called. It was Freestyle Happy Hour or something like that. And we did a Facebook Live on that particular tour.
What
all
year was
freestyle.
that? Do you remember?
81.
Wow.
How old were you? Were you alive?
Amazing.
81. I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, I was 16 years old.
Damn.
I don't know if you know this. Remember, I didn't have any teeth at the bottom. They were fake. Did I
No.
ever-
What
Anyway,
happened? How'd that happen?
I
Here's the
lost those
story.
fuckers in a hotel in Georgia. Couldn't find them. And we're like early on in the tour. It was like one of our first stops. So I had to go the whole rest of the tour without not any choppers down here. These 4 down here. I was like, talking like this. Hey guys, I'm trying to hide it and shit. And we're at a BMX race, and I'm out in the parking lot of the hotel making out with Heidi Mirzola. She rode for Hutch. I was
With no
like,
teeth.
I had no teeth.
With no teeth. That's a lot
Wait.
of game you gotta have.
Oh yeah, you got used
No,
to
you're
it.
right.
Wait,
Totally.
How did you initially lose those teeth? Was it like some kind of gum disease, or did you get hit in the face?
No,
How do you
I
not
was
have
coming
teeth at
down.
6?
I was coming down. I was 12, or I don't know how old I was. I was 12, and in San Diego, there's this hill, and we actually used to live there when I was like 5. But I was over at my sponsor's house, and they lived over there. I used to race BMX, Ray, believe it or not.
I
sucked,
believe it.
just like-
I've seen you. No, I've seen you, man. You were one
Where-
step above me.
Oh, dude, I was at the starting gate while Eddie King was at the finish line. I used to race Eddie King, and I'm like, the race is over. I just started, But anyway, that's another story. So I'm coming down this hill. We timed it out where I would hit the green light, go across the street, and there's a taco shop, and it's still there to this day. And I'll send you a picture of it so you can see where I slid on my face for 5 feet. But anyway, I went to Bunny Hop, the stand where they have the arrow to turn in for the drive-through, and I pulled up too soon, hit that fucker, flipped over the bars, slid on my face.
Oh,
Yeah, I tore my face off from here to here. That's why I'm so good looking. It all grew back as one, So that's what
I knew
happened.
something happened. That's
Knocked my
crazy.
teeth out. I had braces, 3 hours in oral surgery just untangling those fuckers. So,
Oh.
yeah. If I didn't have the braces, I wouldn't have had a tooth left in my mouth. So said the oral
Yeah.
surgeon. So anyway, my riding,
Wow.
I've got more battle wounds. I've got a major scar down my knee from racing BMX. My brother, when he took me to the skate park, we used to have a ditch and skate park in Spring Valley, and we'd jump the fence and go ride in there. And then they finally made it where we could come in one day a week and ride. And God, that was when that was in the 70s. And
Wow.
anyway, he was trying to teach me how to roll in, All right, just lean back, brother, roll in, just lean back and smoothly roll in. My dumbass leaned forward. Next thing you know, I'm face planting the bottom of the pool. So that was my run in pool riding. I did one drop in and said, fuck this. And so
You could have been somebody.
yeah, I could have been hey, I'm just glad I didn't grow up in the era of all that shit they're doing on motorcycles these days, because I would have tried it, man. I was stupid. I'd go for it, So anyway, I've had some injuries. Then I realized I suck so bad, I better just use my mouth and start announcing and set up tours and work at Haro and do whatever they wanted me to do.
Hey, Ron, tell us though, you were so you said JT, then you were with Haro, you were with Skyway, you were with JT again, you were with GT. So go through the list of companies, because it seems like
Yeah.
you went through a lot of industries. I mean, you know
Yeah.
a lot of the insights from all these companies.
Okay. If I don't, I don't want to take up too much time and bore everybody, but
We've got all the time in the
No,
world.
there's no boredom here.
You just go, Ron. This is
Go
your show.
until you run out of stories. We're
Yep.
good.
my first job was 11 years old. I worked at Yum Yum Donuts. They called me Donut Head. Fucking don't start laughing, Ray. I'm telling you the truth here. I don't want any
Yum
jokes.
yum.
Yum Yum Donuts. I cleaned the floors, and I was 11 years old. My dad got me the job. What was he doing? Hanging out at the donut shop. Well, he wasn't even a cop. And anyway, so he got me a job there. They hired me to sweep and mop the floors before and after school. So I had to ride my bike there. They gave you a work permit in school back then. At 11 years old, I got on my bike and I rode up to in Spring Valley, which wasn't the safest neighborhood, up to Skyline, which was an even worse neighborhood. There's a gang called the 70s there, and it was gang infested and all that. And anyway, so I worked there. Then I'd ride back down, go to school. Then after school, I'd ride back up, clean the floors, and then and that's I got tons of stories from just the donut world. But
Do you remember what you
moving
got
on-
paid for that gig? you remember what you got
Yeah.
paid for that gig?
$2.65 an hour, minimum wage.
Yeah, 265. Yeah.
Yeah. I made
That's living.
$35 a week, and I thought I was rich. I bought my own pedals. I bought, all kinds of shit, for my bike. I went and opened up a bank account, and I was like, oh man, I'm rich. I'm loaded, So anyway.
Well, tell one story from that. Tell one story from there, because you said you have a ton, but one.
Yeah,
donut
you said you have lots of stories from Donut World. We would love to
From
hear.
Yum Yum Donuts. So
From
it's morning time. The cook just finished cooking all the donuts. We got the trays there, right? They have the big trays, and they're all, the racks are slid in there. Well, I'm moving the tray out. I'm pulling the tray, and the frickin' apple fritters start wobbling off, and they hit the floor, and they're all on the floor, the apple fritters that the guy just made, the cook. And he looks at me like, holy shit. And he goes, hurry up. And we start putting them back on the tray and slid them back on the rack, because he didn't want to cook any more apple fritters. So that was that. And then I remember, like I said, it was a hard neighborhood. I'm in the back, and this black guy comes up, and he says, hey, yo, man. He goes, give me some donuts. All right, you want some donuts? He goes, yeah. I go, I got a ton of them. I'll give you. We had the 3-old and 4-day-old donuts all in a big trash can. I just got a nice box and loaded them up with all the old donuts. And he goes, I'll be back here every day for a box of donuts. I go, keep on coming, man. I'll get them for you.
Wait a second. Let me make sure that I got this right. You got shaken down for protection money, and you gave him 3-day-old donuts, and he came back the next day, and you gave him the next 3-day-old donuts.
Oh yeah, every day.
That's awesome.
You got
Oh
it.
yeah, my brothers used to drive by and yell when the door was open, "Hey, donut head!" They were making fun of me and stuff. It was pretty fun. I think Scotty was.
God.
You guys, I don't know if you guys all know my other brother Scott. Some of you might have met him.
No.
I know Dave has. Gumby has. Because you remember the show? Remember when we went to the river, Gumby?
Yeah. At the bar show. Is that what you're talking about?
We did the show at Mr. B's bike shop in Yuma, Arizona, and we were at the river. It was Memorial Day or something like that. Because remember, me and my buddies all went out there, all my musclehead buddies, and so we had the horror ramp out there, and we're at the river, and we go to do the show, and I think we're all shaking like a leaf because we've been drinking like the whole time, and I'm up on top of the ramp doing the headstand, and I'm like shaking, practically falling off the ramp, and trying to announce and the whole bit, and it was a mess, but it was fun.
Okay, what's the next job you had?
Oh, God. My brother gets me a job at JT Racing, and I want to say I was 14 or 15, and so I worked in the warehouse, and my job was like packaging up sticker kits all day long. I sat in the room, and I'm just putting stickers in a bag and putting a header card, stapling on them. And then I moved up to printing the T-shirts. Back then, we used to have presses, heat transfer presses. And that's how JT sold all their shirts that way, and we made the jerseys that way. We put the numbers on them and all that. So I did all that, and then so I used to ride my bike from Spring Valley to National City, where JT was. Take me about 2 hours to get there, and then I'd work a couple hours. Yeah, every day after school, I ride my bike there, and then there's a guy that worked there that lived near me, and so he would bring me home on the way home. So I got to ride back, and then my mom bought me a moped so I can get more hours at work, and then my buddy Ace, he got hit by a car on it, and that was the end of that moped. So other than that,
Ace.
yeah, that's a whole nother book there. He went on a tour. But anyway, so then I left JT because my mom got sick, and she actually had a heart attack, and so I had to go live with my dad, and I moved up to Kearney Mesa, and so I quit JT, went up there. I didn't work for a while. I mean, I was just kind of doing odd stuff and all that, and then I bounced back to my sister's, and then my brother started in the summertime. He moved. We did that 81 tour, and when we got back from tour, he was in Torrance, and he moved the business down to Carlsbad. That's when he bought the building in Carlsbad, moved Haro down there. So now we were going to work there. And there was, my sister was living with her boyfriend, or she got married to him, Ron Huckins. And he had, his best friend was Bill Hawkins, Billy Hop. You guys all know him.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so we got him a job at Haro. And then, so he would drive and pick me up. And it was 45 minutes. And if traffic was bad, it'd take us an hour. We were supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. And every single morning, Bill would pull up in his Baja Bug. And I'm sitting there like tapping my watch because he's late, you know, and I'm always been an early riser. This one thing I do is I get up early and I go, I'm ready to go. And so he would just pull up with his middle finger up, not even looking at me, smoking a cigarette. And I knew I hated cigarettes. And I get in the car and it's like, you know, we start arguing from the minute we take off, you know. And then he just walks right past Jimmy's office, or at the time we had a boss named Daryl Franzak, and Bill would just walk on by and you're late. Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, oh, there was traffic. There was a burning mattress. I told Jim Ford one time, he always gave me shit about that. But there's always a burning mattress in the freeway. If you guys look, you'll see one every now and then.
What?
Anyway, but that wasn't the reason we were late. We were late because Bill was late, you know. So we worked
But
at
you were
Haro.
trying to cover for him.
Huh?
You were trying to cover for him always.
I was covering for him. So we worked in the warehouse. I was actually the warehouse manager at first. You know, I guess I knew the owner, you know, but anyway, Jimmy pulls me and Bill into the office one day and says, hey, Ron, we want to talk to you. You're doing a good job out there, but we're going to let Bill take charge of the warehouse. And I was pissed. And you know my anger back then, Gumby. I'm like, I stormed out of that office. I was so pissed, and I'm throwing shit in the back, and I'm not working for you, and you know, yelling and shit. They have written books on Haro a lot, obviously. That warehouse was pretty fun in the day.
So you're talking about Jim Ford. When you say Jimmy, you said Jim Ford, right?
Jim Ford, yeah, Jimmy. Yeah.
You call him
so
Jimmy. And you started then, were you starting to do the bookings of the show, or was that all Bill? Like, didn't you guys both do that?
No, yeah. So I started off in the warehouse, and we all worked in the warehouse. And when we first came out with a bike in 1982, we had the frame, and the frame and forks was made by Torker. They would show up on a truck. We would have to put the stickers on them. Oh man, I hated that shit. We had to sit there, and we had a long wooden bench table. That's where we stickered number plates. We put stickers on that, on the bikes, and we did all kinds of stuff. You know, we worked in the warehouse. We did shipping, receiving, whatever. We had distributors back then. And so I started off there working with them, and then we had a lot of cast of characters coming in and out of that place, different people that got hired. And I'm still friends with one of the guys, and that was good friends with Bill after the fact. And there's so many stories gonna be, but it's one girl, I'll tell you one, her name was Rita, and Rita worked in the
I remember Rita. Yeah.
Remember Rita? Yeah. So Rita was pretty hot, if you remember. She was a good looking woman. So Bill and Rita are always playing around, like dry humping on the pool table or ping pong table or whatever, like they're getting it on. And I'm like, wow, man, I'm gonna see what I can do. So she's playing the asteroid game one day. Remember we had an asteroid machine, and she's playing asteroids. And I unzipped her. She had a skirt on and it had a zipper on the back, so I unzipped it. She turned around and slapped me and said, "How dare you!" And nowadays I'd really get in trouble for it. In fact, what are the statute of limitations? But anyway, so freaked out, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, Rita, you and Bill are dry humping on the ping pong table. What's the difference from this?" So.
And what was her answer to that question?
She told me to shut the F up, I think. She was mad, but we made up. She was good. And then
how did you make up?
I told her I'm sorry.
I thought maybe she said I get paid to do the wild thing.
I'm 17. I was a young kid. I was stupid. There's a lot worse than that going on. I mean, just all kinds. That place was pretty fun.
A lot worse than that going on.
It was an experience. Let's put it this way. There was Trish. You remember Trish Gumby?
Yeah, I remember Trish. Yeah, sure.
This is a good looking woman, man. She was good looking. We found naked pictures of her and all that, but
Right. Oh my God.
That Dave
Stop. Can we get off to the next job? Ray, we need to roll this on.
What was your
All right.
next job?
oh man. Well, then I went and talked Jimmy into putting me into sales. I said, I can sell, man. I can talk. Get me on the phones. Let me talk to the, let me do the sales. So they gave me a shot in sales. I did sales. I went back. I did everything in that place at one point or another, and then I quit and I went to work for the company next door. So that was a moving company and I was breaking my back doing that. So I left Haro for a couple of years. Then I ended up coming back. And now I'm getting lost on timelines and stuff. But then in 1985, I was going to the BMX races. So I was not the team manager because we didn't have a team. We just we sponsored all the teams like GT,
like promotions, yeah.
Promotional guy. So everybody wore our stuff, from gloves to visors to the pants, everything. So I have to go there. I went with a duffel bag just filled with new product, and I would go up to like Diamondback, give them all new gloves, new visor.
So this was Haro?
Huh?
Yeah. This is
Haro.
Yeah.
So Haro, it's just, I didn't know this. It's weird to me to think of like Haro co-sponsoring GT riders.
Oh yeah,
because
look
at
at
first they didn't have a team, so he just had all his product. So
Yeah.
that's how he'd get his name out there.
Well, and
The
that's what
first
was
product-
brilliant about how Bob did it, because he covered everybody. Like Skyway wore so many teams wore their leathers and gloves. It was
Yeah,
it was like the
it was-
Switzerland of companies.
everybody. There was, well, he was smart. He purposely placed the logo on the front of the leg so it would show up on the cover of the magazines. We were on every cover shot for years, when we were making gear. And then when he did a freestyle bike, we got laughed at. They thought there's no way. We heard that GT was like, yeah, these guys are gonna do a freestyle bike. That ain't gonna go. So we had a couple years, I think, before the other companies started making it. I don't know the history on it, but anyway, I know we had a little bit of a head start. And then in '85, Bob approached me and said, hey, we're gonna do a race bike. So pick a rider. And I'm all, we can't do a race bike. These guys, he goes, hey, they got in our world, we're going to go in their world. So we're going to do a race bike. I'm working on it, so he was getting the designs all ready, and we were going to bring it out in '86. And so there was only one rider. I already had the rider picked. It was Pete Lunkarovich. And so I approached Pete at a race, and I just said, hey, Pete, you want to come down and talk to us about riding for Haro? We're gonna do a bike. He goes, we'll keep it on the down low. He said, yeah, definitely. So him and his girlfriend and Mike Redmond all came down to Haro, and we negotiated a contract, and there it was. So we had our rider, and then that went into other things. His contract wasn't supposed to be up from CW till April 1st, and I actually found a loophole in his contract and showed it to Jimmy. I said, this guy's not even on contract. We could take him. And so we sent it to the lawyers, and so we did it. And I kind of feel that was kind of a dick move. We took him we debuted him and the bike at the ABA Grands in Oklahoma.
Wait a second. You were 16 at this point when you found a loophole in the contract?
No. This is
85.
This was 85.
So how old were you?
19, 20.
20.
That's
19.
still pretty good. I know some 19-year-olds who are absolute idiots.
Listen, this is contracts back in the 80s. Did you ever read those things? It was pretty easy to find. It said either party could get out, some easy shit like that. So anyway, we did it. It was all in the all over the news. No Twitter and all that crap back then, but it was like CW was going to sue us and all this and stuff. They tried to stop it. So Bill and I, remember I told you we had the press machines, just like at JT, we used to press T-shirts and numbers. So we got Pete's jersey, and for the Oklahoma Grands, we put April Fools for his name on the back, and that's what he debuted. That's what he came out riding to. So he wasn't Lunkarovich, he was April Fools. And the bike debuted. I remember walking that bike through the hall, and Gary Ellis comes up, he just stops me, he goes, "Man, that's a beautiful bike." It was a bitchin' bike with all the graphics, you know, what Bob used to do, or still does. But anyway, so it was a hit. It was a good debut. Had the team for 1 year. We had a great time. Then Bob Hadley calls me. He says, "Hey, we're dissolving Huffy. You wanna take on Mike King?" I go, "Oh, hell yeah!" So Mike King was going to win the #1 amateur. I knew that. So I knew Pete would win. There was 3 governing bodies back there, ABA, NPL, and USBA or whatever. And so my goal was to get Pete all 3 of those titles, and which he did. He got all 3. Mike got, I don't know if he got 3 of them for amateur, but I know he got, I think, ABA and might have got NBL. So we had the #1 pro, #1 amateur first year. And so it was pretty cool. But then Bob comes in '86, goes, "Hey guys, I got to get you all together." Tells us he sold the company. So we're all, "Oh wow." He goes, "We're going to downsize a little bit, you know." And I'm like thinking, he goes, "I can't keep everybody." I looked over at Bill and I just said, "I'll leave," you know, because I knew I could get a job. I go, "I can get a job with my name." And Bob's like, "Yeah, and I'll help you." You know, so that, you know, I didn't want to say, "Oh, I'm the brother, this and that. I want the job," you know, because they weren't keeping both. So Bill stayed there, and Bob made a call to Skyway, and I flew up there for an interview and became the team manager there. And that's how I got back into freestyle, because I left from freestyle after a few years, you know, kind of hanging around that stuff, and then did the race thing for 2 years, and then managed Skyway, and then went back to Haro in '88.
Hey,
Then-
we got to get Eddie in between. Hold on, let me jump in here. Eddie, tell us about the run you just had, and if the kid's okay.
Yeah, no, the kid's okay. Everything's good. He went down a little bit, and they took a really expensive taxi ride. Prior to here earlier this morning, my friend took a expensive taxi ride and broke all 4 fingers off to the side, just that way. Big concussion. His car's still here, so I gotta make a phone call.
Jesus. Wow.
How many dudes get hurt every weekend at the track?
Guaranteed,
Guaranteed.
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, someone's going down. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's like the skate park. I mean, this is not a place to come if you don't want to get hurt. This is a place that you know, challenges your skills, and it's great exercise. But you're going to get some nicks and scratches, some bruises, and possibly broken arms and concussions. But that's how we get better.
There you go.
Yep.
You got to get hurt. You got to risk it. So do you tell the kids about the risks, and like, do you do the whole telling that story to kids and how it's a life lesson and all that sort of stuff?
I
Or do
do.
they just figure it out?
A lot of the times when they come in, they're riding really carefully and shy, and I'm going, "What are you doing? How come you're not trying?" He says, "Well, I don't want to get hurt." Well, then you need to leave this place, because this is not a place for you. If you don't want to get hurt, this is not the place, because you're going to get hurt. You're going to get scratched. You're going to get bruised. You might even break an arm or two, but you have to try, at least try. And a lot of these kids that are riding, they'll ask on how to jump and what am I doing wrong and this and that. And a lot of the guys, they come in and they do this safety case, and they'll land the front wheel over, but they'll case the back end and just kind of do this. And I say, "Hey, if you just in the middle of the air, if you just tip your nose down, you'll actually make it." And that's just a little bit of information that has helped a lot of these kids out here make some of these jumps. Like this guy here, he's made all these jumps.
Wow. That's awesome.
Eddie, I would have teeth if I would have known you back when I was 13 years old.
Eric Otto's here, by the
When-
way, everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
hello,
yeah,
Eric.
yeah.
Shout
Hey,
out to
Eric.
Eric
Nice to see you,
Otto.
Eric.
My man.
Just listening in. A lot of good stuff so far.
Been so quiet and patient.
I'm not,
Eric's a videographer.
so I can just relax and and just enjoy.
Hey, Eric, we're hiring a video editor. We have 2 people. Do you have, what do you think of that? Is this a good idea to do the audition for the video editor?
Sure. I mean, what are you looking for?
We have 2-hour-long episodes, and it's 2023, and the kids are all on Adderall, and they will only watch 5-minute videos, and so we need it to be punchy, max. And so we have to isolate the funniest 5-minute clips.
All right, I can do that.
Really?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
What is,
I mean,
like,
so
can you like auto tune it and stuff like that too? Like, how deep does it have to go with production?
Or how can we help? How can
Yeah,
we
like
help?
what it depends on what's the end goal for you. What do you want the video to communicate?
To have me on camera as much as possible. That's what it's the end goal.
To
is.
have Large Ray making people laugh so much that they will pay for Large Ray's slow roast coffee. So this is what we have going. So the idea here is to make really funny content for local bike shops. And so we're going to have them come on one at a time, and they're going to tell Ray their story. And if Ray finds that it's like boring or wants to light them up, then Ray will make fun of them, and then they can show all of their friends Ray making fun of them. But we
Gotcha.
have to first bait them to show
Right.
up, and then we need an editor who can take the funniest, quips or whatnot, and then they can put their little shop logo on it, and people will just get roasted by Large Ray. And then if the video footage is funny enough and it drives foot traffic to the bike shop, then what we ask in return is they switch their coffee from Costco or whatever swag they're drinking to Large Ray's slow roast coffee. And then
Gotcha.
Eddie Fiola gets all the money.
All the money.
All of it, all the proceeds.
But we get the production budget. And so if there's an event that we have to go to shoot this footage, Ray and I get plane tickets, and we just get to have fun on someone else's expense budget.
Always a good
It seems
thing.
entirely fair to me.
Yeah, that's totally doable. Like,
Okay.
I don't see any issues with that.
How can we help you, Eric, make it easier for you though? Because 2 hours is it's a lot of footage.
I mean,
Dave doesn't even watch the show anymore.
No.
That's part of the challenge is for 2 hours, like Dave can't even watch Dave's show anymore. And so we're
Wow.
trying to spice it up for the kids and for Dave.
I gotcha. Yeah, I remember Terry Adams telling me, like, I love your videos. They're just too long. Everything's too long. Make it shorter.
Oh, I like a long video.
I do too. I think we all do. But then again, I'm not,
We're
kid,
doing 2
so-
versions. We're having long form and short form.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
appeal
yeah.
to everyone.
Yeah, you want to have things you can cut up quick and put on all the social media platforms.
Okay, so here's an example of what I mean by that. So Ron, I have a really quick bit to summarize. Dave was telling us the story like almost 2 years ago of the time that he first met your brother. And it was after his contest run, and he shook his hand, and your brother like crushed Dave's hand. Well, Dave told that story in front of Pete Augustin, and Pete said, "That mother effer did the same thing to me." And then we started we're like, wait a second, this is Bob Harrow is an overgripper. And we went and asked people, like asked every guest that we had for 2.5, well, for like 2 years, if Bob was an overgripper. And we heard some evidence of it. And so at 2021, I went to the Woodward get together, and Eddie gave me life coaching on how to overgrip Bob, and he and Dave gave me air cover, and it was so awesome. And I overgripped your brother. But when the cameras went off, he told us a story about Big Kevin. I think his name was Big Kevin, who
Yeah, in
overgripped
sales.
him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, like, were you aware that you have a brother who is an overgripper? And two, what is the story behind Big Kevin, who gave him the idea to overgrip in the first place?
Well, first of all, I don't know who Big Kevin is. My brother's got a lot of fans, or friends, I should say, then fans, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know who Kevin is. I think I kind of remember him because he shakes my hand all the time too. So I got to kind of check that out next time
Pay
I see him.
attention to it.
Shake hands with him and see if it's the old overgrip.
So we might not have the right name, but it was a salesperson that basically said to Bob something to the effect of, what kind of father raises a son that can't give you a good handshake, right? Do you remember, Joe?
He said, did your mother raise any men?
Roger.
Big Roger.
What was Roger's name?
Was he in sales or something?
Yep, Roger made, and he sales. His hands like out to here. How you doing? You know, yeah, it had to be Roger because Roger did sales. He sold. He worked for Tech Color Craft, I think, which made stickers and made. Okay. You know, they made everything. You know, back in the day, they still are around. Tech Color, and Roger either worked for them or owned it or something. No, I don't think he owned it, but then he started a company in San Diego. And yeah, I remember that because I was like blown away by his grip. I'm like, he's like halfway up my arm and it's just, you know, so that's probably the guy.
All right.
A long way off from Kevin, but you know.
Well, I was so stunned that, you know, like, okay. So, you know, in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke is like in the snow, and then Obi-Wan comes up and he goes, "You're going to learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me." And I was like, this is Bob Harrow's Yoda. Like, there's another master beyond the overgripper. And that's what I was so captivated by. And so I knew the line that he said, but I forgot his name.
Yeah, it's Roger. It's got to be. I remember that because I remember that guy doing that. And he was a big part of my brother's life. He sold Harrow a lot of product and stuff in the day.
Oh, it clearly works.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, can we go back to Eric I want to make sure if there's anything we can do to make it easier, because this is really exciting. Like, you know how they do a clip when you're videoing a lot of footage, and then when you do this, you know that there's a good spot that you pull a link. Would that help, Eric, that we would designate one person to do that? Every time there was something that was hilarious, we would just, would that help, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely, anything like that. Or even if it's in notes, like if someone's like, if you're taking notes on times when things happen, either that or, you know, just make a note of, hey, this is good. I want this in, and it happened this far in to the recording, you know.
What do you think, Joe? What's the best approach to manage it?
So there's a couple things that I have been doing. I do take notes throughout the entire show, and I will, you know, sequence them, and sometimes I will timestamp them.
Mm-hmm.
The trick about timestamp is Zoom doesn't have the recording, like it doesn't have the time. So I'll give an approximate, you know, clock time. But I will listen to the show. I'll look at my notes, and then I'll listen to the show like throughout the day, and I will note, like before we publish it, I'll listen to the raw Zoom feed, and I'll make notes about where in the Zoom feed. But I'll think like, oh, well, that was a funny part, or, yeah, that sucked, but it links to this other thing. So we gotta
Right.
like
Okay.
I'll make those types of notes for sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, now this part of the show is where Ray's asleep, so we have to talk about something that relates to 80s.
Ray sleeping is
Freestyle.
I was gonna say,
Ray,
wake
Wait a
up,
Ray,
Ray.
I got a
Ray.
question for Ray.
Yeah, okay, Eric's got a
Oh.
question.
Perfect.
Great. Wake him
Ray,
up.
so I assume, Ray, you went to Upper Merion.
I did.
Okay, so do you remember the 1989 Thanksgiving Day game versus Norristown where the big fight broke out?
Oh, they had a fight every year. They had a
But-
fight every year.
Yeah, but that was the one where like they canceled
They
Thanksgiving.
canceled it now.
They
Yeah.
canceled it until 2015,
Yeah.
and now it's back. But yeah, that was
Yeah. It's back.
This
Yeah.
is
When I
this
was
is
a
like
kid,
this is Norristown versus King of Prussia.
They
lore
canceled
here.
they
Nobody
canceled
else
a
cares
game
about
for
this but
30
us.
years.
yeah. Even I think the powder puff, like when the girls would play, they canceled that too because the girls from Upper Merion and Norristown would fight. So then I think they canceled that one too. But yeah, there was every year when I was like, even in the 70s when I was a kid, they'd be like, "Oh, Upper Merion's playing the Thanksgiving Day game with Norristown," and everyone's like, Jim's got a knife and blah blah. It was always some kind of nonsense going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one with
Yeah.
like students, like the athletes' parents, like full
Yeah.
on melee on the field. Good times.
I thought you were gonna bring up the when the principal killed the teacher and her two
Oh,
kids.
Susan
and
Reiner. Yeah.
Susan Reinhardt in the 70s.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
whole other one.
I remember driving
What?
through the neighborhood to see that
Yeah.
that dude, I think his name was Jay, right? To see
Yeah,
his
he lived-
house. Like he lived like
Yeah.
right near you guys. I know he lived near Gary.
Right on the same side of the street as me. Yeah, he lives.
Yeah.
He lives like 10 houses, 20 houses up the road. The short version, Joe, is there was a guy that was a principal at my school that I went to, Upper Merion,
Mhm.
and in 1979, he was robbing stores, dressing up as a security guard. He most likely murdered his daughter and son-in-law. They never found them again, and then he killed a teacher and her two kids, and they never found the two kids. So there's 4 people that went missing, and a school teacher that died, and he was the guy that most likely did it. Him and another teacher like had a thing where they're like, "Hey, you kill her, and then I'm going to get like $500,000 or something like that." And it all happened right in my backyard. My mom was a secretary at the school, and the lady who got killed was at our house about a month earlier at a Tupperware
Jesus.
party in the late 70s.
They made like
Oh,
a
yes.
classic made for TV movie about it. Remember?
Yeah.
I forget what it
Yep.
was called, but
Echoes in the Darkness. I'm an expert on the whole thing,
Echoes
'cause
in the darkness. Okay.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Hang on.
When you
I
get-
gotta.
I got a murder scenario too.
Hit it.
from my child.
Hit it. Let's hear it.
Back
We're
to
talking about
forensics.
now.
So I had this at the time, my best friend Rodney Sparks and my other friend Jimmy Lujan. One lived straight up from me about 8 blocks, and the other one lived to the north of him about another 8 blocks. Well, Rodney's neighbor across the street went missing, the mother, and she ended up found dead at the school, Kempton Elementary, where I went to school. Well, our house was butted up to the school, so you jump our fence, and we had our biggest playground ever growing up. We had so much fun in there. They found her behind the racquetball courts, and turns out the guy that killed her, Ronnie Foltz, lived next door to my other best friend, Jimmy Lujan. So my best friend's neighbor got killed. My other best friend's neighbor killed her, and they dumped the body behind my house.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's
I would
crazy.
leave
a
his
dark
house,
turn
man,
here.
I could run home. I'd be freaking out to get home, because I knew there was shit going on in the neighborhood. It's like it'd be dark and shit. I'm running to get home as fast as I could. I was a fast runner.
Hey, Ron,
Who else has a murder story?
I have a question, not to get off the murder subject, but I wanted to find out, what was it like when you were on Skyway?
James, what is whatever.
It's quite a transition.
Can we, where's the time marker
Yeah.
on that? 4:32.
I want to know about Hoffman. So how was it stealing Hoffman from Horror when you were on Skyway? Like, did your brother talk to you, like not talk to you for a year or two, or how did that
No,
go?
it
He
went the
still-
other
No,
way.
no, it's the other
It went
way around.
Yeah. It was Skyway.
Skyway.
I guess I can talk about it now because I pretended like I didn't know what was going on when it came to Skyway. So, like I said, I got a job up there going on tour. They put us out in that shitty van with, we went out and did the tour, and we tried hard. We did a good job, but it was Matt's first tour. Well, God, there's so many stories about that. I didn't think I was going to get to take Matt on tour after what happened in Palm Springs at the, I don't know if it was a 2-hip or an AFA. There was a contest right before all the teams were going on tour. I don't know if you remember that.
It was
Was there a fire at a hotel?
That's a different story. I don't even remember that one, but this one. So I'll start out with my Skyway experience. Day one, we're leaving from tour the next day. Mr. Hoffman, Joni, they're all out to see this contest, and they're going to fly home with Matt and Dennis and whoever they're taking back with them. And then I'm driving the van out to Oklahoma to pick Matt up with Scotty Freeman and whoever, so we
Eddie Roman
and Kevin Jones.
Eddie Roman. Eddie was on the tour the whole time. Scotty went. I don't know if Scotty went the whole time, but who was the crazy skate park guy? Hugo. Hugo couldn't go because he had a job. So and Maurice went, I think. So anyway, and we kind of put some guys out. There was another guy, Robert, that rode for us, and he had a real job, so I don't think he could come out much. But anyway, so we're at Nick's at this contest, and Gumby, Nick. I know Nick, the Australian guy. He's done a couple tours announcing with Ron and you and everybody. So anyway, him and I go to Zelda's. Just happened to be I set the record for watermelon shooters that night. I had like, I don't know, 23 of them. It's an easy. I'm not, and for anybody out there, I'm not a drunk. Believe me, this is the first beer I've had in a while. I don't even drink that much. But anyway, back then I put a few down. So we're going back to the hotel, and it wasn't a hotel. I mean, it was a motel. With the swimming pool in the middle, all the rooms.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was full on Chevy Chase going into the pool. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. So we're walking to our room. We're walking by the pool, and Nick pushes me in. And all of a sudden, all the lights start going on. Everybody's waking up. What's all that noise out there, And we ended up in somebody's room. I couldn't tell you who it was, but we started partying from there. And, the contest is the next day. And that's the difference I like between the racers and the freestylers. The racers, it was like serious. We got to race. We got to win this race. They were doing all that. It was like, so anyway. Freestyle, you guys would party, so that was kind of fun. So the next morning I wake up, and I never get hungover, but I had a little bit of a headache that day, and I'm like, and Mr. Hoffman comes up, he goes, "Hey, Joni and I want to have lunch with you today at noon. Will that work?" And I'm all, "Oh yeah, Mr. Hoffman, okay." And I went up and I found Nick. I go, "You asshole, Matt's not coming on tour now because you pushed me in the pool." They saw all that shit and saw us partying and drunk, and he can't go on tour. So noon comes up. I'm sweating bullets all day. Noon comes up, and we get to the restaurant, and Mr. Hoffman and Joni are sitting across from me, Matt's mom, and they were the best. And he looks at me and says, she says, "Just so you know, our baby's never left our side. This is the first time he's leaving the house." And Mr. Hoffman looks at me and says, "And we trust you wholeheartedly with our son. We've never let him out of our supervision, but we trust you. And I want you to be his manager forever." And I said, "Oh yeah, Mr. Hoffman, I can do that." And I'm thinking, whoo, I'm still a little hungover, but I'm relieved he's going on tour. And by the way, we kind of think Matt might carry the show. So we want an extra $25 a show for Matt, and I didn't even ask Ken. I just said, "Yeah, I can arrange that," because I was just like, he wasn't going to be able to go on tour. I had to give him an extra $25 a show. You know, it's like, what do we do? 30 shows, big deal, you know. But
That's a
25
great
bucks.
move.
Yeah, right.
well, they were paying at the time. The riders would get that team. It was $75 a show, and then
Oh.
Matt wanted 100.
I don't
You
know.
know, so I agreed to the 100
Awesome.
without
Wow.
supervision. I got back, got ready for. We went on the tour, but before the tour, I was up at Skyway and I'm calling my brother. Hey, will you do graphics for us, brother? I got to do a poster. I got to do this and that. And he goes, no, brother, I'm too busy. Get this guy to do it. So I get this guy to do it. Poster comes out pretty good. It's in the air and on the road. We use a map like Rand McNally because that's how we used to get to the shows with the big Rand McNally map.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of forgot a show or two because we didn't have cell phones with reminders and directions. But anyway, so we do the print up 2,500 posters, and I spelled Eddie's name wrong,
Oh,
Eddy, and he spells it Eddie. And they call me from the office, Ron, these posters are beautiful. They look great, except for you spelled Eddie's name wrong. And I go, oh shit, I better call Eddie and tell him about a typo because we can't reprint the posters. He's just gonna have to live with it, you know. So anyway, we went on the tour. That van broke down. I know pictures have made it in the magazine of us under the hood and fixing it and stuff like that. But getting back to Gumby's original question, I did contracts. I remember doing Dominguez's contract for wheels, and he was making pretty good money to ride those wheels. And then I was trying to sign Gary Pollock. So I had Matt's contract and Gary Pollock's contract. One was
What was
a little
Gary
higher
gonna
than
get?
the other. So all of a sudden, Joni calls me and says, Ron, please tell me you didn't send Gary Pollock's Matt's contract. I go, no, I sent it to Matt. Why? Because we just got Gary Pollock's contract in the mail. I go, oh shit. You know, that's one of those Southwest Airlines want to get away. So Gary didn't get Gary that year. So anyway, so we went on.
Who
the
am I
tour.
calling after this call?
Ask him if he remembers.
Does Gary still have Matt's contract?
Gary,
I
will
don't
remember.
A
You know who will
counterpoint to
remember?
this would be amazing.
Gary's dad will remember it in 2 seconds. Gary's dad will know it in a second. And I
Yeah.
see Gary's dad all the time.
Yeah, so we
That's
were
awesome.
we were lowballing Gary a little bit compared to what we were going to give Matt, you know, at that time. So anyway, Matt never signed the contract. Jimmy called me. That was when Dennis was leaving with Mickey. Everybody remembers Mickey.
Yes.
And so Jimmy called me and said, we have an opening. Is Matt interested? And so I flew down and I talked to him. I said, yeah, I talked to Matt Sr. first and then talked to Matt, of course, and flew down, negotiated his contract with Jimmy and threw myself in there. And I had the handwritten contract. I lost it. I don't know where it's at nowadays, but I kept on to stuff forever. And when I was cleaning out storage, I found it one day. I wish I still had it because it had all my demands. I didn't want to work. I just wanted to show up for tour, you know, and I'm like, they were supposed to give me 20 grand up front, all this shit, and give me a mountain bike, the whole bit, you know. I didn't get the mountain bike or the 20 grand. Jimmy was all, well, we can't give you the 20,000, but we can give you a job. You can work here and you can help Bill sell the tour. And then you can go on the tour and you can announce the show and you'll get $100 for announcing each show. And I'm like, okay. So I took the gig. So I made a whopping whatever we made back then. I know it wasn't a lot of money. And Bill and I booked that tour. And Bill didn't give a shit about geography. He didn't care where there's Gumby. Did we have some long drives or what? We'd do a show and we're driving 12 hours. We'd show up. I remember one show, we'd finish the show and we drove all the way till the next show. And it was time to do the show. And it was like, we just drove 24 hours to get to this next show. It's like, Bill, this state is next to this state and this state's next to this state. You know, what are
That's
you doing?
insane.
And he goes, you help book it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. You got me on that one. But anyway, so, and that was a fun tour. That 88 tour, which just happens to be 40 years ago this summer, was for the ages, man. It was your guys were out. Gumby, do you remember New York and am I right? 40?
I don't think
35.
it's not 40.
45?
Hey, leave Ron alone, man.
It's okay, Ron. Keep going, Ron.
It's
Keep,
Get him, right?
442.
Drink it, Ron.
it's only a number. It was many
Okay,
years
how many
ago.
years is it? Where are we at?
88, 35.
Oh, 35 years. Excuse me. I
It
made
doesn't
4 or 5
matter.
years old.
It's
Please.
the story's great.
It's just
It's in 5.
It was
forever.
Rodney. It was Rodney with the fingers that fucking got me.
So anyway,
Okay, keep going, Ron. Keep going.
so do you remember New York? When I
Well,
drove
remember lots of New York. So tell me the year. Are you talking about 88?
88, when we were on tour, we did a show with you guys. What was the
Yeah.
big shop we always did a show at up there by
Well,
New York?
there was Mr.
Rockville.
C's there was either Mr. C's in Brooklyn. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Carl was, it might have been that one, or if it was outside, was it in Manhattan? Because there was a show that we used to.
That's when the night we went out with the Swatch guys, and the guys saying, and we had the 2 vans, and we pull up, and Brian and Ron, they're opening the side door. The bouncer wouldn't let us in. Yo, you guys look like you're going to the beach, so go to the beach. So we go, oh, yeah, okay. So we got the vans, and we're driving down in New York in the city, and we open the side doors, and they're just firing bottle rockets, because we loaded up with fireworks, of course, as all the time, and they're shooting the bouncer with bottle rockets. Remember that?
It's so funny because I don't think I was there, Ron, because that happened at another place in Myrtle Beach, but I don't remember happening in New York. So I might have been out.
You were
Riding
there
flag.
because you guys were on tour. The 3 of you were on tour, and then I got so lost in the city because I left the team at Joe Gatola's house in Long Island, and I couldn't get out of the city to save my life. I was so lost the next day, and I remember pulling both vans up on this one street, and the girls were walking around wearing nothing, and all the girls come up, and they come up to the van, and Brian had talked to him first in the front van. They come back, which one of you is Rhino? And I'm all, that's me. Rhino, those guys say you're ready. I'm all, no, not me. Roll them up. No, thank you. I didn't even have the balls to do that kind of stuff. That was crazy. But anyway, we had oh God, yeah, there's a lot of New York stories, but anyway, where isn't there a story, right?
That's right.
So did I answer your question, Gumby? I can't remember. I start getting all over
You're
the
doing
map.
great. You're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
So Skyway wasn't happy. I felt bad. I moved out of there I just went down and I told this one guy that worked there, and I didn't tell Ken directly. And Ken and I were tight, Ken Costner, who ended up buying Skyway. And I heard it was somebody was talking about buying it. I know he just recently sold it over the last couple of years. He ended up buying it off the Rodmans, but it was a great time for that 1 year in Redding, California. When I moved up there, I spent more time away from there than I was there, but I hung out with the Rodman boys, Chris and Craig, which was Chuck Rodman's. Chuck was the uncle, and I can't remember the dad's name, but anyway, the dad owned Skyway. The mom owned Kentucky Fried Chickens, all the Kentucky Fried Chickens, so we got to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken for free. And, that was kind of so a lot of stories up there. That was pretty fun.
I would
Anyway.
love to get I
and
would
then
love
after-
to get a chicken sponsor, by the way.
That would be good.
Yeah, Ron, you have any more connections there at Kentucky?
Yeah,
Fried
can
Chicken?
we get a chicken sponsor for the show?
I don't know how to get a chicken sponsor these days, I don't know. But anyway,
Eric,
So-
that's what we're trying to do. You have to edit this up really good so we can get a local
Yeah,
chicken
get
sponsor.
Talk to Terry and we'll get Raising Cane's on board.
No, I want to get like Raising Cane's competitor. Like, I wanna
Competitor.
get- yeah.
Ray, why don't you start a chicken company? Ray's
Yeah.
Should.
Large Ray's Fried Chicken.
Zaxby's?
Large Ray's Fried Chicken.
Large Ray's Fried Chicken. I'll buy some.
Don't tell Joe this kind of stuff. He'll
Yeah, Joe will
be
just run with this.
Colonel
440.
outfit.
Joe-
Hey, Ray,
He's
I
making
got a
notes
question
right
for
now.
Ray. Quick question for Ray. The contest, I don't know where we were, Ohio, wherever we were. Second floor, microwave on the second floor near my room.
First
Yeah.
floor, Ohio. It was a first floor. It was 1987, January 1987, first floor, West Palm Beach. Your door was directly across from the microwave.
Well, I had the microwave right, but it had the wrong floor and the wrong
I know this
date.
story.
Yeah.
That
But you
is
told
the
me-
worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. The hotel blamed me for it. They wanted to kick Skyway out. I had my international team there, Carl and his hot sister and everybody. And I'm like trying to impress the UK team and be the proper team manager. And oh my God, Ray.
Oh my God.
Well, when we were at the AC/DC concert, you had your 30 beers in you, and as we were driving home, you guys were talking about the good old days, which was like 2 years earlier, and you were like, "I'll tell you this, man, if I ever find the guy who put the shit in that microwave, I'm gonna kill him." And I was like, "Ron, I know who it was," and you're like, "Take me to him right now. I'm gonna rip his head off and shit them." And I was like, "It was me." And you're like, "Was it really you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you're like, "That's awesome, man. That's a." And then you
That's
told
how
me
I
how
found out it was you. Oh yeah.
you told me that when you were flying home, nobody would sit next to you on the plane because all your clothes smelled because your room was so close to the microwave.
Oh, I remember the poor maintenance guy. The poor maintenance guy taking that thing out and dumping it in the back in the dumpster. Yeah, it was.
It was quite an odor, wasn't it? It smelled like something we've never
I've never
smelled
to
before.
this day. I don't know what a dead body smells like, except for the lady behind in the school, but this was a lot worse. Oh my God.
Is it in Matt's biography? He calls it one of the lowlights of freestyle.
Thank you, Ray Schleckwig. That's me. The lowest it could go. I brought it there.
As
and
low
then
as you
some.
can go.
It was
Gotta be good at
it was
something.
like as bad as like antics after comps ever got was that.
I take pride in that.
Welcome,
Oh, yeah.
Todd. Thank you for joining, and I hope you're enjoying this so far. But we've had
Hey,
quite a
Todd.
show. Glad you can make it.
Hey there, thanks for I wondered if you were still going, so I'm glad I
Yeah,
got to
we're
catch
still-
up on the
yeah.
tail end here.
Oh, Ron's just starting. Ron's only like halfway through his career.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm not even at the halfway point. I
This
found
is
around a
a
little.
multi-parter.
We're getting a little of everything, but yeah, I could go on for everything. I mean,
Keep
forever.
going. We got plenty of time.
Yeah. So JT,
Oh,
so you left Haro, and then JT was the next gig. What was the next gig after?
Oh, no, I went back to, no. So then in 88, that's when I went out and teamed up with Matt. And his dad wanted to leave Haro and start Hoffman. And I'm all, no, let's stay Haro one more year. And we partnered up to do VIP concepts. That was when Matt built the half pipe.
Right.
You know, so we had this half pipe being built, and I moved out to Oklahoma, and Ace went with me. Hired him on for, I don't know what he was doing or what he was supposed to do, but I think he was in charge of the t-shirts or something like that. We brought a bunch of t-shirts that we had that Dennis hated because we had I think we were supposed to do a Dennis McCoy shirt, and you know, anyway, it's pretty funny. He still talks about that. But so we go out there, and then we were trying to get the big sponsorships. Matt hired some firm to represent us. We made a video. We were building the ramp, and we flew out to California, and we went to GT we went to GT and tried to sell them on sponsoring us. So our dumbasses showed them the ramp, showed them pictures, showed them everything. You know, yeah, we're gonna do this ramp, and it's gonna be so bitchin'. We're gonna pull it with a semi, and we're gonna do all these shows. And we got, you know, we were all pumped up. And how do you think the meeting went? I go, I think it went great. Well, what I heard as soon as we left, they said Richard Long. I don't know if you guys know who he was. He was
Yeah.
I know the name.
Gary Turner, Richard Long. Richard Long says, I think it was Richard says, how long till we can have one of those ramps built? And the shop foreman says, We'll get started right away. They built 2 of them at the time Matt's was coming out. And then I ended up going on tour in one of those with those ramps. Oh, another dead story. Yeah, we killed a guy on the way to the Missouri State Fair.
Oh, Jesus.
We didn't mean to.
Let's hear this one. How we killed a guy.
Oh my
Perfect.
God.
He says it like he ran over a trash can or something. He's like, "Oh, I want to tell you how we killed a guy." So let's hear how you killed a guy.
That was a sad story. Me, Volker, and Nick, we were going out to. Nick was going to announce the Missouri State Fair, and we had that big old house box. I got a picture of it somewhere. It was a big box on the back of a big truck. And then we had the ramp, which weighed 20,000 pounds or whatever. Well, we're leaving Gumby, going up Macumba or whatever on the 8, like you're going to Yuma. We're going like 5 miles an hour. We got the hazards on, we're just going slow. Well, Volker's driving. Nick and I are in the back of the house. We just tossed all our beer cans at the gas station that we filled up at, and we weren't even drinking anymore. Volker wasn't drinking at all. He was dry. So, we all of a sudden we're going up that hill, and Volker goes, "Man, did you guys feel that? I think something hit us." And we're all, "No way." So he goes, "Yeah." So we pull over and we all get out, and there's this truck, the engine's in the front seat. They hit us on the corner, so they got the corner of the ramp, so the passenger dead on arrival. And we run out there, and there was a cop at that gas station when we were getting the gas. So he comes up the hill. He was first on scene, and he comes up, and we go running back there, and Nick just looks at the first guy and says, "That dude's dead." And then they weren't even working on that guy. They were working on the other guy. Next thing you know, a helicopter lands, takes that guy, and flies him out, airlifts him out. And then we had to have a big semi tow truck come get us and tow us back into up to mine and Bill's office. Somehow we talked GT and letting us have our own office down in San Diego, in San Marcos. And so we went back there, and then we ended up going up to the GT and getting the other race teams dualies, because we had 2 dualies, one for the race team, one for the freestyle team. So we took their dually, hooked it up to that ramp, and got the ramp fixed, and drove it out there. And that big truck never came back in the play again. It was just too slow. So the dualies pulled the ramps better than the other one did. So yeah, not quite as funny as my other stories, I guess. But
no,
yeah.
The other stories were a lot more funny. But that's a crazy story.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to go to court a bunch of times, and they prosecuting the guy for drinking and driving, of course, and all that stuff. So yeah. But that 91 tour, or 90 or 91, whatever it was, you guys, the story, Ray, about me holding my piss from Texas to Alabama?
No, but we're going to hear it right now.
I want to hear how you hold your piss for that long, because I couldn't even on the show.
Yeah, it's okay. So why don't I save this one and just ask Volker, because it cost him $200.
Oh my God!
Have you had Volker on here?
Yes.
Yeah, we've had him on.
Yeah.
But we'll have him back.
Yeah.
There's a story where just say, "Hey, what happened the time when Haro held his piss from Texas to Alabama?" He'll tell you. We just talked about it the last time I saw him. So anyway, it's a good one.
So I would like you guys to see some footage that Rodney sent over, and
let's do this.
I want to so Ron, Dave gave Rodney a good idea about how to hold what would you call it? Hold jams.
Yeah, it wasn't even that so much. I was asking, the first time I was on the show, I was asking about just I was like, I'm doing this. Like, I started riding again, and I'm like, I'm enjoying myself. I have a feeling that there are probably other people in my city. I live real close to Cincinnati that are riding. And how do I figure out how to get this all together? And Dave told me, he was like, basically, he was like, just spread the word that this is where you ride every Saturday. And just let the word spread and see, he was like, sooner or later, 12 people are going to show, you're going to pull up and 12 people are going to be in your regular lot. So,
Yeah, I think I just said like pick a day and a time
Yeah.
and just be consistent, even if it's just yourself and maybe one other rider. But then
there
over
was
time,
one time that I showed up and I was by myself.
right?
But what's happened is one of the guys who was coming a lot, Glenn Meltreader, I'll give him credit for this. He was able to secure a spot for the space in the winter. This is the building where they used to modify the limos for the president. And they're using it as paper storage now. So the paper distributor that he works for is leasing this warehouse space. Every Saturday, we have a 60-degree indoor spot to ride.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Glenn works for Dunder Mifflin.
He works for a company called Petmoy, but it's close.
Hold on a second.
Thunder Mifflin
Glenn.
sounds way
I
cooler.
know.
Yeah, I like
Glenn works for a
similar
Dunder Mifflin office supply
office.
company.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the office
Is
warehouse.
Glenn Dwight or is Glenn the manager?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things of like, I think we all wish that we were Jim, but we're all probably a little Dwight.
Yeah, I can see
know?
that. All
So
right.
anyway, what's been happening since we've been at this indoor spot, like people have just been coming out like crazy. Like the session that this footage is from, we had 19 guys.
That's
19. That's like
awesome.
contest. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a contest.
Yeah.
And like we're all progressing. Like
Of course.
I mean, so that's been really good.
And how long are the sessions typically? Are they a couple hours or
3 to 4 hours.
nice?
Um,
That looks like Todd Carter almost.
that is Todd Carter. I would say Todd's a semi-regular.
Nice, Todd.
Especially since we have the indoor spot.
Yeah, it's really nice to have a lot of room, and it's a really good floor too. So
It looks
And it's heat. Is it heated? Because you guys.
It is heated. It's
Yeah.
always 60 degrees.
nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so we've had people come from as far as St. Louis and Chicago. So you figure 4.5, 5 hours each way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It reminds me of when Matt would ride in his dad's warehouse when they raised the roof and put the ramp in there. And
Yeah.
as soon as it hit 5 o'clock, when the staff went home, Matt and his friends all took over the warehouse and would ride till 8 o'clock the next morning when the staff started coming back in.
And the thing is, like, so these are all like older guys. I'm sure there's a couple of young flatlanders in the. And
In the area.
You
we just
have
to-
you are
yeah.
playing a remix of White Rabbit.
This is Eaton. It's an Eaton mix.
Heat mix.
Awesome.
it is actually the Eaton mix that features the baby back rib commercial. If you can remember when that one played at Battle in the Rockies, that Eaton mix, and Will said, "I refuse to ride to this. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back." That
Will Red.
yes, yes. It's like, I absolutely refuse to ride to this. Can we change this to something else? And I think I've told Rodney this. Mark Eaton's mixes are awesome, but and he he rarely. I mean, he does hours
there's
and hours
Tom.
and hours of mixes.
Mhm.
The baby back ribs thing was the only time I've ever heard him miss. For that was a miss, but everything else is always awesome.
That's one of their
you've
guys'
got
daughters.
kids, yeah. Tell us about the kids coming out and getting stoked.
We've lately been having 2 kids. One of the guys who's been riding lately, Ron Metzger, who did a zine. I can't think of the name of the zine though, offhand, and I meant that earlier. But
That's
he's been
super
coming
cool.
out and bringing his daughters, who are 6 and 9, and they have these little 18-inch We the Peoples that he's got that out with brakes and pegs and gyros and stuff, and they've been riding with us as well, which is they're cute kids, and it's super fun to them being excited about discovering like stuff like riding with like with on the peg, like 1 foot on a peg and the other one dangling off or whatever. Like their excitement over that really motivates all the rest of us as well. And I think we've been seeing a lot of like it's just progressing us, and it's a lot of fun. We've been having a good time.
That's so cool. Hey, do you want to see some footage from the Terradome's beta jam from 2010? Here, we
got to get Joe to come and ride with us too.
Yes, we do.
I gotta come.
What you want?
So we got this for $300.
There's Todd's guinea pig.
Yep. Andy Johnson, right up. Scott Powell came down.
Yeah, Scott Powell for sure.
The discoloration on the floor is all skim coat. We had to patch huge gouges. What were you saying, Todd?
My boys used to talk about there was like an old elevator in this place.
Yep.
And my boys used to talk about it as the haunted elevator because it was super sketchy.
Probably was.
So fun. Marty Clark.
Yep, Marty Clark.
Yep. And
I had a very hard time pulling any tricks that day.
I'm not used to seeing you with brakes on your bike, Joe.
I know, right?
Bike looks so small, Joe. What are you riding?
It was an Aries Terry frame. It was very, very small.
Tiny.
I had lunch with this guy Andy Johnson a couple weeks ago. It's so fun. Andy is the co-founder of the Terradome Sports Science Research Center, along with Scott Nagy,
Thunderworld.
who made this.
I'm gonna
Thunderworld.
say Ray has a different name, but
So Thunderworld is what manifests when you're in the Terradome Sports Science Research Center and the stoke and the focus is happening. That's when Thunderworld comes in. That's when you feel everything like in your head really hard. Scott Powell is an incredible, awe-inspiring technician.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep. Agreed.
And he does that stuff all day long without repeating anything. This is Phil
People's
Burnett.
champ.
Yeah. Phil entered 2017 Master of Creativity. And he did all stationary stuff. And
like that stationary whiplash.
Yeah, he did stationary rope, like stationary half-lash rope, and the views on Phil's parts beat everyone else that year. And Marty was like, "We have to come up with a People's Champ award," and so Phil won the People's Champ. And he thought I was buying views because I was posting it to like some like other bike
groups. Yeah.
But I swear I didn't. The only time I ever bought views was for Joel Shellhorn's graduation video where he went up on a unicycle. And I bought these views and I was like, I'm just going to wait to see when he notices. And he never noticed.
Really?
He never noticed.
That's it.
And I was like, how did you not see that? He's like, huh? I don't have internet. I just moved to Colorado. And I was like,
I just moved to Colorado.
seriously? Yeah. That technically counted because I didn't have my feet on the ground.
That's right.
Dave, why do you have a backpack? Are you base jumping or are you leaving?
I gotta go. I'm going to ride and get some footage. Practice for the
Oh
contest.
yeah, how's that going?
Edit out the sneaky touch. I've been watching some of your stuff, and you put stuff out there when you do a sneaky touch. You can't sneak that in there on the interweb. Take the time, edit it right,
what
man.
you want? What you
I
want?
don't edit anything, Ray. I just put it up there. I just
Well,
film it.
all right, then you know.
Yeah, I
Then
gotta go too.
Then that show hack term comes out, and I hate using that.
I'm okay with it. I mean,
I don't like, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's fine, Ray. You should feel good
right.
about it. It's a show hack.
You're
You should feel
I-
good that you're touching.
I do want
This
to
is
throw
a
one
perennial.
more quick thing about what we were talking about, like the
Yeah.
Cincinnati riders. Most of these guys, myself included, haven't entered a comp since like 1990,
Mhm.
and we're going to Huff Jam.
Wow.
Yo,
The whole group of you? The whole 19?
I think as far as, well, that was 19. A lot of those guys were from like Dayton and
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But as far as like our core group, as of right now, if everybody comes that says they're coming, there will be 6 of us.
Nice.
that's
You guys
awesome.
need a
awesome.
sponsor. You could
And
get
we're all
Dave.
in.
You could get Reclamation to sponsor that. I bet if Dave knew how to get a sponsor, or you could get Ron to help you. Ron can get anything.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ron,
Ron
can you
can sign
sponsor
anybody.
these guys?
Ron's getting back in the game. He's going to be their manager.
Dude,
Ron,
Ron,
can you be their
Ron builds,
manager?
Ron builds buildings. I don't. I've been out of the game for many years.
That's fine. Can you just get them a brick distributor sponsorship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or concrete. Maybe
Just-
concrete
just
would be
Please. Yeah, brick and mortar. Literally get them a brick and
brick
mortar.
and mortar sponsor.
So here's the thing, we're we have started a zine,
boy.
and this is the first zine in a long time, and we're only going to be distributing it at live events instead of on the interwebs because we're going proper underground. So you giving these guys or helping these guys get a brick and mortar sponsor would be amazing. They'll wear the t-shirts of the brick company, and all they need is do you need fuel or do you need a plane ticket
Yeah,
and
what's-
hotel
Are you flying or
and
driving?
Uber Eats?
We're driving. It's
and
about
a-
6
and a
hours. It's about a
suits.
6-hour drive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
so some
these
gas
guys
money.
only need 10
Well, gas
grand
money
for the
would be
weekend,
awesome.
Ron. Is that easy?
10
You guys have a
grand
band?
Is that each? Is that each, Joe, or is that for the whole pack?
each.
No.
Hey,
Cumulative. All 10 grand between all of us. We'll
Yeah.
spread
do
it
you guys
out.
have a van?
No.
You don't
Can
even
you
have a
get a
van?
van?
Oh, find somebody with a
I
van.
drive a
Can you
I have
rent a
Toyota
van?
Corolla.
Why don't you rent a van and then we can put the brick and mortar company's vinyl wrap on it,
It should just be a
and then you
mag.
can go down
Just get
there.
some magnetic ones.
Magnet.
Yeah,
Okay,
magnets are
magnetic
better.
ones. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll send these guys down, and then you guys can talk to people on the street about, how these are the best bricks that you've
Oh,
been
boy.
using these bricks, you've been laying these bricks, and that got you.
Can somebody stop Joe? Can somebody stop Joe? Somebody.
Hey,
Can we get a
Ray,
break?
Hey, the other
break
plan
sponsor
is
to put the brakes on?
the other plan is
There's
Large
Dave's
Ray's
hat.
fried chicken as a ghost kitchen
No, that I'll
on
talk about.
Uber Eats.
Mhm.
I like that idea.
Can we
It's
get one more Ron Haro story before Dave has
Tim-
to leave? Oh wait,
Bring
sorry,
us
go
home,
ahead, Jeff.
Ron.
Hey, let's do this. I'll come back on someday with you guys. Get
Yes.
Morales. Morales and I got
No.
tons of.
I
No,
don't want to be
yeah.
on when Morales is on because I don't want him to yell at me about the microwave.
I think you need to face facts now, Ray. It's been enough time. You just need to face facts.
Ray, you're gonna have to
All right.
face that. Yeah.
Mhm.
we can do
Yeah.
the 81 tour that Morales and I took off. We
We'll
went
get
on.
Morales. Ron, do you want to ask Morales?
Of course.
Okay.
That would be
ask him.
awesome. That would
just
be
let us
so
know.
awesome.
We do it about
I'm
once a
calling
month.
out sick that day.
Yeah. And then what about Volker? I want to go on with Volker.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. So
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
So just so you guys know, that was a hard thing for me to do, to go to GT, because all the wars we had with them, in my years with Haro.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so-
share one story. Share the cake story because I don't remember it well enough. But there was a cake that went
Okay.
back and forth, right?
Well, I'll tell you how it was back then. So we were going at it with ads, against each other. So Haro made number plates. So I said, Bill, let's send GT just our number 1 in an envelope. And so we did that. We put it in an envelope and we sent it to GT, just the Haro number 1 in an envelope to GT, attention Richard Long or whatever. Next thing you know, a van pulls up, like a little minivan with Francisco's catering. I mean, they put graphics on this van and everything. It wasn't the real caterer, I don't think. And they showed up with it. They delivered a big number 1 blue and yellow cake, a GT cake. So we took pictures eating it and we thanked them for the cake, told them it was delicious. It was good, as we ate it. And so, of course, that was in the magazine. But if you look back at time and go through all those ads, it was back and forth.
Mhm.
So
For sure.
one of the best tours was when, oh God, what year was that? 80, 88? Yeah, that was 88. Matt, myself, Rick Moliterno, and Joe Gatola, we were all on tour. And we did a show. You know how some of the shops would do 2 teams at the same day?
Mhm.
Well, Dino was there at one of the shops. And then we found out we were doing another show together. So we said, F the politics. Let's go with each other. So we followed each other. And Spike was on that with us for a week or so. I forget how long. And so he took a lot of pictures, obviously. And that's the one where Matt crashed the van. So I was tired of driving. I mean, I did a lot of the driving back then on that tour. And I don't know how, because now I fall asleep easy, man, when I'm driving. So I don't know how I did it. But anyway, I might have fell asleep a few times then, but anyway, it's not how many thoughts you can hit, it's how many you can miss. So anyway, Matt, you guys know he was driving out of the gas station, plowed that car, and jumped into the back, yelling at himself. He was so upset. I'm such an idiot, and it's like the van was not even that bad. But anyway, the lady sued Haro, went on for years and years and years. I think they just settled with her a few years back,
Wow.
So
Oh
it
my
went on for a
gosh.
long
Oh my gosh.
so, but anyway, so we did those shows together, and that's where I got to know Dave Volker, and I'm all, this dude's cool, and he's from my hometown, so I knew of him and knew him at the contest and stuff, and so fast forward to 1990s, I leave Oklahoma and I come back and I need a job. So my buddy didn't want to stay out in Oklahoma anymore. He, let's go back. So I told Matt Senior, hey, I'm going to go back. I'll still be involved, whatever. But we were homesick. We wanted to get home. So we come home. So I call the owner of JT Racing, John Gregory, and because I knew him obviously when I was a kid. So I said, hey, John, I'm looking for a job. It's Ron Haro, da-da-da. So he goes, oh, yeah, you want to come down and work here? What can you do? I go, I can do sales. And he goes, all right, come on down and talk to you. So he hires me. So I start doing phone sales for them. Well, JT at the time was still hot in motocross during the Ricky Johnson era and all that. I think Brock was out, but Rick Johnson was still there, and they did the Bad Boy Dalmatians and Life's a Beach. They were doing Life's a Beach pants and stuff like that, teamed up with those guys. And So I went to work in the sales department, and they had motorcycle shops and bicycle shops and paintball shops because they made goggles, because Marty Trice stopped making paintball goggles, camouflage goggles. So I had the state of Hawaii, I remember, and it was Desert Storm. We couldn't get enough goggles. We were selling, the soldiers were going through Hawaii and they were buying all our goggles. We couldn't make them fast enough. You know, the other dealers weren't getting them, the camouflage ones. And so, so we did good with that. And the paintball stores, I should say, didn't have any goggles to buy because the motorcycle shops were buying them all because that's where the soldiers were going in to buy them. But the bicycle shops, I knew all these bike shops from tours. So it was easy. I just pick up the phone. Hey, yeah, I'm with JT now. Boom. My sales were just like off the chart. My motorcycle sales were okay. You know, I remember, oh no, that's a different story with Vanilla Ice. But anyway, so
Vanilla Ice, that's another story. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, he owned a shop in Florida. Anyway, so they took half my motorcycle territory away and gave me 50% of the bicycle territory. And there was this other girl that did bicycle sales, and Vicky. She was,
Vicky.
How do you know Vicky? You remember those?
I do my research.
That's right. We were hanging out a lot back then. Vicky was doing bicycle sales, so they gave me her territory. She was pissed off. It was easy for me to sell because the name, I used the name again, you know, and I remembered all these dealers and hey, yeah, you want to carry our stuff, all that. And then I did a sponsorship with Mongoose, got them wearing our stuff and all that. Todd Huffman calls me. Somehow Todd and I got put together, and we start talking about me coming to GT. So I called Bill. Hey, Bill, got this opportunity. I don't know about doing it. It's with GT. And, you know, Bill wasn't at Haro anymore, and I wasn't obviously there. So he said, let's talk to him. So I called my brother and said, hey, Bob, got to ask you something. This is 5 years after he, you know, his deal was ending with Haro. He did a 5-year deal after he sold it to stay on with the company that bought Haro. So I said, hey, GT wants to hire me. You know, I'm thinking about doing it. I don't know if they're just doing it for the name or if what they're, you know, but they want to hire me to, you know, do their tours and stuff and their shows. And he goes, I don't care, brother. If you want to do it, do it. He goes, I'm over it. He goes, you know, I'm out the door. And he wasn't going to be able to work in bicycles for at least 5 years, I think. So he was going to go into the motorcycle industry and do designs and stuff if he wasn't already at the time. I can't remember. So anyway, so Bill and I did a deal with GT, and that's how I ended up over there, and Bill as well. So we had GT Entertainment, which didn't last very long because we weren't very aggressive with it. And Richard Long came down and fired us.
But you booked some of the best shows because we did all the ones down in Mexico, and you had Volker and you had Blyther, myself.
You were riding.
Tino. Yeah, I wrote. I mean, that's when I wrote for GT. You guys.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, because you were riding for us, and we were doing school shows, and we were doing.
I just remember the Mexico shows. The Mexico shows were just the best.
And we were doing. We were talking to the NBA, and we were going to start doing NBA shows, and because I wasn't freestyle at the time, and starting the show bookings, I don't think were happening at the shops anymore. Right? It was dwindling down, but we did the one GT tour, and I'll never forget, man. The dually kept breaking down. Me and Volker are flying home, getting ready to fly home, right? And we're gonna leave Mirror out there in charge of the van, in charge of the truck. I got so many stories about Dave, man. God, I miss that guy. But anyway, it was a fun time, fun tour. I'm so glad I did it because I got to spend the summer with Volker and really get to know him, and Mirror. That was an experience. He was so, you know, young and just it was amazing, you know. So but I remember the last thing, we're in the Memphis airport, and I'm looking out the window, and Mirror's out there with the hood open trying to get the van. I think it was overheating or something like that. I kept doing it. You know, instead of us going to a shop back then, Gumby, and fixing it, we just put bubble gum on it or whatever we could do to keep the thing running, remember? It's just like, so that was whatever our fix was. It was pour more stuff in it, pour more fluid in it. You'll be fine. Just don't let it overheat and blow the engine, you know? And it's like
pour more
crazy.
Fluid in it.
Yeah.
Pour more fluid in it. But on that drive, this ties in kind of I'm telling the Volker stories, but it ties into the take a piss all the way down to Alabama. So that just happened to be 4th of July. We were down in Alabama. We ended up in Florida and slept on the beach and the whole bit, had a great time, went out. And then on the way back, we're driving and we're playing the road sign games to stay awake. It's like next stop to Memphis, 329. And then we were guessing what the next one would say, and whoever came closest would win. So we're the mile markers, you know. So we're driving, we get gas and we pump up. The GT had a big 150-gallon tank on the back. So we didn't need to get gas all the rest of the way. We drive 4 or 5 hours. We get there. I'm like, oh man, I'm so fucking tired. And I got a flight the next morning. Go to check in the room. I'm all, oh shit, where's the credit card? And they go, don't tell me you left it at the gas station.
Oh,
I go,
dude.
no fucking way. And luckily I had the receipt, so I knew the name of the gas station. And I call them, hey, you wouldn't happen to have my credit card, would you? Yeah, we sure do. I'm all, oh shit. And I go, Volker, please go with me. Put the drive, you know, I'll pay you whatever. He goes, fuck that, dude, I'm going to bed. You know, the lady let us get the room. We talked to her and given us the room without the credit card. And so we get the room. So I had to drive 4 hours back that way and 4 hours.
Oh, that's brutal.
And I'm looking at those road signs every time, and I knew the numbers. Oh, 385 miles or whatever, 165. Oh, we're going to come up on 120. You know, I was entertaining myself as I was going cuckoo because I was so fucking tired. I get back at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's time to go to the airport and get our flight. And that's when I'm leaving Mirror with the company rig. I mean, I wasn't. Whoever gave me the keys and the credit cards to these companies and said, take these kids out. I mean, what were they thinking? That's like giving Ray the keys. Even not quite as
Wait,
I'm very responsible
Ray's
these days.
very responsible. And
Yeah, he's pretty
a great
responsible.
driver.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that had to throw the microwave out. He'll tell you how responsible he was.
I was a
hear that,
teenager
Ray?
back then. Yeah, now I'm
Well,
a
me too.
full-grown adult now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I have
yeah.
responsibilities, but back then, you know, I would have sink
It
a
was-
ship just to watch the people float. I didn't give a shit.
And, hey, we haven't even talked about your tours, Dave, with Ron. And I remember loaning Ron my extra rent-a-car when the UK team was out. I had 2 Lincoln Continental, you know, the town cars, the big ones that we put the bikes in the
Oh,
back.
they were
'cause
great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they would hang out the trunk, and I'm all, Ron, whatever you do, don't thrash this rent-a-car. I'm going to let you use it. Do not thrash it. And I'm with Skyway, and he's with Haro, and he's like, yeah, no problem. I see him going down on the sidewalk driving, going the other way. So I flip a bitch to chase him, and I get pulled over and get a ticket. I'm like, unbelievable, man. And Ron's just flying through town, you know, doesn't give a shit about my car. I'm thinking, oh, God. You know.
I gotta take off, guys.
Yeah, I gotta go too, guys.
All
It's
right,
really-
everybody's
it's
leaving.
really nice meeting you,
All
Ron.
right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
excellent
Rest of you
show.
too.
Our boss
Hey,
didn't say
sorry I
goodbye, but I
babbled
think
so
he was
much.
happy, Joe.
Yeah,
Sorry,
our
I
boss is
babbled
gonna
so
be.
much, guys.
No,
no,
Ron, it was
Ron,
awesome.
Your stories were
Ron, we
awesome.
love you, Ron.
actually
Great.
didn't talk. You didn't talk enough.
Ye-
We need to have you on about 6 more times.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's
That's the
eventually
fun-
going to be the Ron Haro Eddie Fiola show.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the-
seriously, Ron, you're helping
I'm
us
not
get,
even
get
kidding.
paid from Eddie.
I'm not even kidding.
that's the fun side of it. I took it serious too. I like the competition. I enjoyed the riding, watching the guys, and just witnessed so much stuff in my life, from my brother starting out just on a little kick ramp to what it became, and is just proud to be a part of it, and then to be the show announcer and make an ass of myself in the public. You can tell I don't mind doing that, and I didn't back then. And I've seen some of those shows I've done, man, on YouTube, and I'm like, God, I thought I was good. I sucked.
All right, guys.
But anyway,
I'll see you next time.
All right.
See you
bye.
later.
Bye
Hey,
bye.
Kentucky. All right, guys. I guess that's a wrap then, huh?
Yeah, that's a
I
wrap.
get, yeah.
Well,
Hey, Ray, do you have my number?
No. Send it to Dave, and then Dave will send it to me.
Dave's got it. Just get it from him.
Okay.
I want to talk to you. I want to see what you're up to and stuff.
Okay. That's
So,
awesome.
Just call me. Dave's got my
Okay.
number. Have him give it to you.
Okay.
All right, guys. I appreciate. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was fun. Now I just need to know how to get the last 2 hours of my life back, though.
Nope. you
All right.
only wait. There's no way to get them back.
We'll
But
see
they
you guys.
will
Thanks
live
for
on
having me.
forever.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. See you
We'll see
guys.
you.